Welcome to the Level Up Lounge, your cozy, chaotic corner of conversation where we delve into the worlds of gaming, pop culture, and mental health. My name's Anthony, and with me is Nick, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Yeah?
Welcome
I really
in.
need to fix that.
Welcome in.
Welcome in, everyone. Welcome to level 18 of the
Holy
Level Up
crap.
Lounge.
It
18. That's insane.
That's legal age.
It's true, yeah. Well, if episodes
We
are
are a legal age podcast now.
not illegal.
No. Like what?
Anyway,
with the eye in front of it?
anyway. Moving
And that
on.
is how you start out of
Welcome
pocket.
in, everyone. I hope you've had a fantastic week. This is a big one. We're
is.
excited. We got
a lovely guest.
amazing Wild Refrain on with us today. Wild, do you want to introduce yourself for those that don't know you and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hit us
all
up,
those
mate.
good things.
I'm not gonna lie, the desperation that I feel to say no and just see what you guys can come up with was like very high. I'm not gonna do that to you. Look, my name's Wild Refrain. I am mainly a Stardew Valley content creator here on Twitch. Spent about 2 years doing that, but more recently moving into other areas of content creation like your TikToks, YouTubes, and Instagrams. Mainly around that sort of cozy vibes kind of streaming that we see these days. So lots of clips, lots of content around that stuff.
How cool.
That's a good point, though, actually. Now, and I don't know why it's only just clicked, but we do see a lot of cozier streams these days that are probably more preferred than the more over the top chaotic streams.
Do you really find that strange though?
I do,
Why?
considering chaos was the meta on Twitch
Let's just take a step back now. How old is Twitch? How old do you think you were or would have been at the point where the chaos was preferred? Like how long ago?
Last year.
Are you serious? Only last year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, wait.
Yeah, what?
Because what I'm trying to get at there is as people age, they prefer
Oh no, I
generally
know. But
films
I feel
to
like
chill out a little
I feel
bit.
like
So
chaos started as soon as Twitch started, and
Yeah.
I've only really seen the rise of cozy streams.
I think
to the
COVID
max,
helped a lot.
Like the last year and a half, maybe.
COVID helped a lot because
Yeah.
people wanted to wind down.
Yeah,
People
true.
wanted to relax and just enjoy their time instead of the air horns and crab raves and the Pedros.
Chat. Look at this. Chat.
Yeah.
Chat.
Which is
I think a good way that I've seen it explained,
Is it
which
meant
is
to be an
really
R on that?
cool, is that what's that?
Twitch is officially a teenage this month.
Teenage, nice. But a way I've seen it explained at the moment with regards to how people see cozy content and whatnot is that there's an air of like authenticity that people are craving more and more these days. People want realism. And I think at a subconscious level, when people are lighting fireworks off in the distance every time they get a kill and like going nuts and doing these things, it kind of isn't the way that people are doing content anymore. So even the more crazy hyped up streamers, like they're not doing it as much because you can't be authentic. You can't connect with people that way. So,
Well, it's also very draining,
it's-
I feel. Unless you're genuinely like that in person, it's very, very draining to do.
Oh, 100%. The burnout is crazy, which we will talk a little bit about
Which
later.
is also a very niche, I feel, side of Twitch these days.
Yes, yeah, it's becoming a lot. Authentic content these days is the big thing. It's even you're seeing it on YouTube a lot as well. People saying they're moving away from that really fast edited. Has to have something happening every second. It's like you got to go. People are moving away from
retention editing, get it out of here.
Yeah. There's so many people that are talking about it. There's not many people still the big YouTubers are still doing it. They're like, we're seeing a decrease in views, but
It's not enough. to
it's still
change
paying the
ways,
bills. So we're going to keep doing it for now,
Which is fair.
yeah. Straight into the industry.
I know, right? Straight.
Industry talk. I
Yeah,
love
what
it.
a warm up.
Yeah, what a
Yeah,
warm up.
yeah.
Before we do leave this though, have either of you seen that there was a kid maybe last year, I think it was, that popped off on Twitch and I think the fireworks thing brought it up. He
The
had,
drummer guy?
He had
pyros. Oh no, not the drummer. Yeah, he had like pyros and
everything.
like small
Yeah, I
sparkles that came out. And it was like a full rave every time he got a kill.
Yes.
I think he was playing like Warzone or something. He'd
I
get
do
a kill
remember
and it'd just
seeing
be
some
like,
TikToks
Yeah, he
about
was.
and he'd be like,
Which is, all the more power to him.
for like a 16-year-old kid, you've got enough energy to do that. If I did that more than twice, I'd probably
It'd be a meme.
Terra Muscle.
It'd be a meme and tricks of India.
On that though, let's massive week, absolutely massive week in gaming news. We've had the Nintendo Direct, which, to be completely honest, I wasn't expecting
Fidget toys.
a massive amount because of last one, but holy, did they smash it out of the park. They so much was announced and still so little. It's
Look, that's Nintendo for you, isn't it?
It's massive.
They drop everything on you, but then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go with a couple of my favorite ones. I might do about two.
We're gonna start off with Nintendo Direct. Let's go.
Yes, let's just jump straight into that because it's massive. It could take up the entire. No, it could. The first one, which I'm assuming Wild's going to be excited about as well, is The Legend of Zelda, or Legend of Link: Zelda's Awakening.
Nice. Is that its title?
No.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. So it's the first game that we get to play as Zelda with Link taken out of the picture.
Do you reckon it'll be like a prequel or something like that?
No, because each of them are like the timeline for Zelda.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the timeline's wonky as shit.
Yeah, let's not ever touch that on the podcast.
Yeah, same.
But
feels.
So you're playing a Zelda on your way to save Hyrule. But the coolest part about this game is the echoes themselves. So it's in the name. You have this ability to pretty much copy anything and make an echo out of it.
Yeah.
And you can use that to then solve puzzles, get to new areas, fight off enemies. So you can literally make a echo of an enemy and then have them fight for you. So if there's like a case or something like that, you can make a copy of it and then be like, go Pokemon, and send it out into the world. It looks really good. It's similar style of animation to say like Link's Awakening or something like that.
Yeah. That's the one.
But the big thing is it launches this year, 26th of September.
Oh, we'll have to keep an eye on that so we can give it a go.
I'm so excited.
It's on the Switch, yeah?
Dude, it looks incredible.
No, it's actually coming out on the Xbox.
No. No, I know that.
All right, I've got the flavor of the podcast now, boys. All right, thanks for that.
That was a very inane question that I didn't even think about. It just came out, all right?
So, yeah, this is one that I'm really excited about. Are you a Zelda fan, Wild?
Yeah, absolutely I am. I was very excited when I saw it. One of the coolest things I saw in the trailer that I don't know how they're going to implement is Zelda actually echoing water.
Yes,
so that
I
she
did
can
see that.
Stack water on top and go in and kind of swim up to areas. So I think people are speculating that it's going to be a really open game. Like Link's Awakening and all the other sort of 2D Zelda vibes have been very linear to a certain extent. You go dungeon to dungeon, you get your weapon, you hit the boss 3 times and you move on, right? But the idea that I see in this one is it's going to be a little bit more open. It's going to be a bit more exciting. And look, I think they need to do that when Zelda's had 2 other games that they've been a part of, but never in this way. So they got to hit it very hard.
Is there any sort of like gameplay or anything they did on the Nintendo Direct?
Yeah, the whole thing was pretty much gameplay.
Oh, okay. So it's not looking like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that? Or?
No. It's Link's Awakening. So it's 2D, sort of
so a bit of a throwback.
Top down. They do this occasionally. They've got series that come out.
No, it's good. It's a nostalgic sort of feel.
So, and I think
it's a bit of a throwback to when gaming was wholesome and family been orientated instead of whatever it is today.
But no, I agree. The water thing does look really cool. There's the animation style there. So you'll be able to see it a little bit.
That gives me hang on, let me just I was gonna say this gives me Lego vibes.
No, definitely not.
No, just from that,
you actually see it.
Just from that very first interaction, but no. Well, is it like very side scrollery as well? Which is
no, it's not. It's maps. It's like Pokemon. Think Pokemon. That's actually the best way to explain it. Think Pokemon. You'll have a specific map. You walk around that map. If you want to go to a different area, you'll exit that map and go to a different area, sort of thing.
Oh, so it's what is the game called? It's on the Switch.
Pokemon.
People love it.
Pokemon.
No, you've got an island.
Pokemon.
No, you've got an
Animal
island that you
Crossing.
manage. Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
It gives me Animal Crossing
Gotcha.
vibes in the way that you can do a lot of things.
Dude, I could have had that going for so long. I was hoping he was going to start talking about building bases, and I was like, Pokemon.
You can do that.
Fortnite? No.
And I do remember, in the Nintendo Direct, I think it's the director was talking a little bit about it, and he was mentioning that you shouldn't have any two players have a similar game gameplay.
Yeah.
The way that you can come at everything, it's this bit here that he's talking about it right now. The way that you can come at everything means that there's a bunch of different
Options.
barriers of exit. So you should be able to have a different gameplay each time you play it.
So it's got replayability essentially.
Yeah. Because there's countless amounts of ways that you can defeat enemies. You could throw a chair at them. You could throw a rock at them.
Throw a milk crate at them.
Yeah. And you can get to different parts depending on what you've got. So it does look really cool. I'm really looking forward to it. So keen.
No, that's exciting. That will be cool.
So very keen.
It's very cute as well.
Yeah, it is. The older Zelda ones are very cute. My last one before I will pass it off to Wild for the next part of the Nintendo Direct is Dragon Quest III. We spoke about this on
We did, yeah.
stream the other week. But now we know that there's not only going to be a remaster of Dragon Quest III, there is also going to be a remaster of Dragon Quest 1 and 2. So the full series, which is very, very cool because I think they're going to all come out like following each other pretty quickly. But the series creator and game designer, I might get this wrong, but Yuji Horii maybe, said that the players will have fun seeing how things unfold if they play 3, then 1 and 2, as 3 is chronologically first. So I'm yet to play any of them. So I'm excited to play them and get to play them in a HD remaster as well. So really excited about that. Really, really excited.
Did you get on any other Dragon Quest? Like, have you played like the definitive S edition 10 or whatever it was?
I've played
recently.
I've played Dragon Quest Builders. That is it. But Builders was really good.
All
And the
right.
only reason I picked it up, I didn't even know about Dragon Quest actually. The only reason I picked it up was because it looked like Minecraft with a little bit more. And I was like, I'll pick this up. It looks cool. And I picked it up and loved it. I think I've played through it like 4 times now. Absolutely amazing. The
so good.
lore in that game is insane.
I can't say I've ever played it.
It's does it look like it'd be a game that you'd play?
I have owned. Was it that the game? That was the game that Elliot played.
Yeah, it's like very Final Fantasy.
Yeah, no, I definitely would. Yeah, it's just so when all this sort of stuff was coming, I was very, very much into Pokemon, and
Yeah, fair.
Mum was my only way into games at the time, and the only games she bought me were Pokemon.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, and like, we had the Nintendo and stuff, but we were like Banjo-Kazooie and Mario household.
Yeah.
Not much else.
Builders 2 was better. See, I didn't even know there was a 2 out. I didn't even know there was a 2 out. But that's they're my two top picks. There's
That's
heaps
really
more.
cool.
There's so much more, but they're my top 2.
We'll have to talk about
picks.
them in some shorts throughout the week.
Yes. Do you have any
Absolutely.
Wild?
Yeah, I got a couple. So I think there's 2 mainline games that got announced that a lot of people are quite excited about. Which one? I can't remember what it is. It's the Mario and Luigi one. I can't remember what the full
Yes,
title
I think it's
is.
just.
But
Wait, what was it?
Mario Luigi Brothership is Brothership.
Yeah, brother.
That's the one.
Brothership. Yeah.
yeah, it's incredible. I played Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga on the Game Boy Advance when it came out. The Game Boy era of gaming is like one of my favorite eras.
Yeah.
And so to see it kind of continue, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't age us at all, gents. Not at all, right?
No,
But
not a little bit.
just yeah, so to see the like the gameplay in the trailer, it's even got the same moves as Superstar Saga. So for me, the nostalgia goggles are on and I am ready to experience it, mate. I'm very excited.
So I haven't played. I didn't even know there was Mario and Luigi games.
No, me either.
I watched the direct with Nick, Nicktacular, and he was like, "Dude, Mario and Luigi," and I was like, "Oh, is this a new series of games?" He was like, "What?"
Which is kind of surprising
Yeah, I know.
find
I'm
because
a
you've got
I'm
Mario
a massive
memorabilia for
Mario
days.
fan, massive Mario fan. But I did not know about these games.
No,
It happens. It happens
no,
sometimes.
that's cool though.
They're a treat.
So from what I
Yeah, they're
understand, they're very
incredible.
similar to
It looks adorable.
Mario RPG. Is that correct?
Yeah, so they're a Mario RPG, but the way that they play is that you play both characters simultaneously. That's the gimmick, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so you still have turn-based combat in a traditional RPG sort of sense, but it kind of integrates a timing element to each character. So, for example, a attack will come at Mario, and you've got to press the A button to make Mario dodge it. But if it goes at Luigi, you press B. That's the start.
Okay.
Eventually, you're doing combos where you're like hitting Mario into the ground, and he spins up and knocks Luigi, and then he hits him with a hammer. And so you get to this kind of like a rhythm game sort of vibe. It's this mix between RPG and timing elements. And when you combine it with some special Mario powers throughout the game, which I'm sure we'll experience, it just gets really wacky and really fun really quickly.
That sounds right up my alley. I love that. I love that sort of rhythm-based. Rhythm-based gameplay. I've recently been playing Crypt of the Necrodancer. Is that what it's called?
yes.
Yeah. And just getting into that rhythm of like, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Those are some fun games.
Man.
That's so that's one I'll have to pick up. I might even have to go searching to see if I can find the old ones. So were they on the Game Boy Advance?
I think they were, but knowing Nintendo, either there will be a Mario and Luigi collection come out in the next year or two,
True.
or it's already on the eShop. So I'd check it out. Like it wasn't a DS game, and I think that when DS games get added to the eShop, it's a little bit awkward. No one really knows what to do with it.
Yeah.
But Game Boy games go very well on the eShop.
Yeah.
So if they are there, I'd check it out.
There's already some good ones on there too, actually, and even like prior, like there's awesome NES. There's an awesome NES catalog on the Nintendo, awesome SNES catalog as well. There's just so many good titles from a long time ago.
They really
Yeah.
Um,
Incredible. The other one that's there that I won't talk about a lot because I want to save some mental energy for the one I'm secretly most excited about. So obviously Metroid 4 got launched, announced, I should say, which is huge. I love Metroidvanias, and to have another sort of mainline Metroid game is very exciting to me. I haven't played Metroid in a long time, like at least the first person Metroids. So I'm excited to get back into that world. But the one I'm most excited about that I don't think people will agree, and I'm okay with that, is the new Phoenix Wright games finally coming out of Japan and coming into a text-based adventure that I can have in the lowly island of Australia. I am so excited for it. I even have like a photo of like one of my favorite characters from that series, and I learned the saxophone just to play his theme. That's how much I'm a diehard fan, right? I can't do it now for the life of me, all right, gents? So don't before I preempt it. But I'm just excited to do it. So it's like a deduction game. You're being inquisitive about a case that you're going through to find out what the killer is.
Oh, good, nothing.
It's very exciting.
So I've never played Ace Attorney.
The Ace Attorney games.
I've seen little bits and pieces of it. And then watching the trailer, I was like, because we only just recently played what's it called? The Sexy Brutale. And it's not exactly the same, but similar sort of vibes. You're like, you're solving mysteries and back and forth sort of stuff. And as soon as I heard solving mysteries and sort of like deduction style stuff, I was like, I'm in. How have I never played this game before?
Yeah.
Dude, it's so good.
Like, I've heard of Ace Attorney, but I've never, like, I've seen the memes from Ace Attorney. Like, there's been plenty of memes from Ace Attorney, but I've never actually played it.
Yeah. So
I think I've got a let me get something. I've got something just to show my fandom.
It does look really good.
This is from
cool.
Nintendo Japan. But like it's a little cutout of the Ace Attorney boys. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I just love the series, so I'm excited to see it. Miles Edgeworth is the main character for it, so I'm interested to play instead of being a defense attorney, being the prosecution. So it's quite cool, man. I don't know. I'm excited for it.
So is this is a collection? Are these all these are all older games? And then is it 2 titles that have never been released in the West? Or
no, I think. Oh, this is where I kind of have to pull away from being a fan, right? Because I can't remember. I think it's. I think one of them hasn't been released, and I believe it's 2 games total in the collection, if my memory serves. But I'm very happy to be fact checked on that.
Okay, yeah, you're correct. Yeah. So one hasn't been released in English and the other one has. Yeah. Okay. So definitely something to look out for. I think it'd be a good game to do on the podcast, actually.
Yeah, well, yeah, very, very, very
by
much
the
so,
sounds of it. Especially the way you and me agree on all game decisions.
Oh, definitely. We agree to disagree, that's for sure.
And quickly before we do move on though, Metroid as well. I'm very excited. Now, I don't even remember the last time I played a Metroid Prime game. It would have had to have been on the GameCube.
Same. One of the first games I ever got for the GameCube.
And I was reading before that this game was actually announced 7 years ago. And then just kind of went.
Yeah, people were like.
And this trailer, I was looking on Reddit earlier.
Stace, can you?
And, can you get rid of old mate there?
Yeah.
This trailer, people were looking at it going, that looks like trash. Like, look at the graphics, that looks terrible. And people are like, it's like a 2-minute trailer. And then the company have come out and gone, we literally just gave you this to show you that it's not dead. And it's actually still a thing that is being developed and it will be getting released. So the Reddit is hilarious. If you get a chance to go and read up on that, there's people that reckon that it might be a launch title for the Switch 2 actually.
Oh yeah.
Which
that would check out.
Yeah, we don't really have a release date for a Switch 2, but
that would probably be a pretty cool thing to announce as part of it. Yeah,
that was part of the thing on Reddit. They were like, that was it was Metroid Prime 4 running on the Switch 2, because if that's the Switch 2, it's terrible. And I was like, just calm down. I don't think that would have done that. But yeah, lots of news from the Nintendo Direct. If you guys haven't watched it yet, I'd highly recommend going and looking at it if you're a Nintendo fan. Actually, if you're a gaming fan, there's stuff for everyone there. We've got just a quick spitball. There's Donkey Kong. New Donkey Kong's coming out. There's Mario Party Jamboree, which we're going to have for the first time ever 20-player chaos in an online multiplayer platform. There is the NES World Championships coming out as well, which I am super excited about. I just didn't want to geek out too hard. There is so much, along with the Legend of Zelda as well. There's a brand new Switch coming out with it. So much stuff. So
there's a brand new Switch coming out with it.
Not the Switch 2, a new edition of the Switch.
Yep.
It's a gold Zelda Switch. It looks
that'd be cool.
Amazing. So much is coming out. And yeah, it's fantastic. So sorry to harp on for
No, it's fine.
30 minutes.
Look, excitement sells. All right.
What's your news?
Mine's not exciting, but at the same time, it kind of is. It's a lawsuit, and I can't remember who is actually maintaining the lawsuit, but Valve is being sued for a whopping 656 million euros
for overcharging players. Is that going to be a class
for possibly overcharging players? So basically, the article goes on to say that Steam has been pushing developers and stuff into a 30% revenue, which in turn forces the developers to pump up their prices. And then because Steam's like, and it locks them into basically, if you put a game on Steam, you have to put the DLC on Steam. Yep. You can't take it somewhere else. Like you have to do it. And which in turn is putting a lot of developers in a position where they feel they can only put it up there because, nobody wants to go to Epic. Nobody wants to use the Windows Store. Who wants to use Origin or anything like that? Like Steam is a staple.
Why wouldn't you want to use the Windows Store? It's so polished.
No, exactly.
And it's so easy to navigate.
Beautiful. And basically they're trying to get it so that people are refunded, and they're averaging at about 22 to 44 euros, which is I think 30 to $60. I don't know if that's USD or Australian currency, but about 14 million people they're saying are affected by this.
Yeah, hence why the
I think if this lawsuit goes ahead and is like a judge goes, you know what, you're right, this shouldn't be happening. Hopefully, it'll sort of put into the market's head that maybe this isn't a good idea to bottleneck people into a single platform, or maybe we should actually give the developers a little more freedom of choice on where they can put their shit and not charge them 30% of their game revenue to put a game up, because some of those games are like $1.
Yeah.
Or like some of the best games I've ever played. I think when Stardew came out, it was like $15.
Yeah.
And look at it now.
Exactly. Yeah. It's one thing I will say though is that it is hard to entice people to put their games on other platforms when your platform isn't
as good or as polished. Yeah.
As nice.
Like,
Epic's getting there. Epic's not that bad. The big issue with Epic is sometimes it's really hard to find what you want to see. Steam's really simple. Steam, you click a button and it shows you tailored like games that are for you. The curator lists are amazing. You go through, you find a curator that has a similar taste of games to you, and you follow that person, and then they bring out a list occasionally, and you're like, oh shit, that's a good game.
Yeah.
But on Epic, it's just like flashes of games that goes past your face, and you're like,
and it's not just, it's like, it's also how big they are as well.
Yeah,
I don't like it's, at least with Steam, if you've got they're big, but they're not take up a quarter of the page big as you're trying to scroll through 1,000 different games to find the one that you want. And like, obviously the search function is really nice, but it's just, people are stuck with Steam in their own brains because, well, you used to be able to customize Steam to a point where you could make it your own.
Yeah.
You used to be able to change the skins. You could load music up into it so that you could play music through Steam. You could do all kinds of things with Steam. But these days, you're very limited in what you can do. And like,
I just had a weird flashback of Windows Media Player back in the day when you'd change the skins and
it was exactly like that.
I don't know why.
Exactly like that. You could download different skins and you could load them up and put them in.
I just literally like went back in time for a second, staring at my old CRT, just like changing the skins on Windows Media Player.
Yeah,
didn't have any music.
Height of entertainment, mate.
Yeah,
no, exactly. And it's just really, I do hope that there is some positive outcome from this, and it's not like a lawsuit that Steam's like, I don't give a shit.
Well, at the very least,
half $1 billion to me is nothing.
It'll have people talking.
Yeah.
At the very least, because it's already got articles out. And that's the main thing that's happening these days that I think is good.
We have a charger down here, by the way. Would you put it away?
No, it's not out here at the moment.
That's all good.
The thing that's good with these sorts of things in the gaming industry and entertainment and stuff, there's a lot more people talking about this stuff.
Yes.
And we are getting sent more things about this. So, a case like this, a lawsuit like this, 10 years ago, we might not have seen it.
No.
The average gamer might not have seen it.
Unless you were specifically investing in, I don't know if PC Magazine is still a thing, or if it was 10 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was. But unless you were like an avid reader of those sorts of magazines, you wouldn't hear about anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But then the only reason I bought those magazines was for the Beast.
What's the Beast?
The Beast was their PC, the most expensive PC you could buy.
Oh, and you were trying to win it?
No, you could win it, but like they just did an entire breakdown of, they called it the Beast, of what was top of the line specs at the time. But it was basically a gaming news magazine. Yeah. They give you a disc of free demos and all this sort of stuff. They put controversy. They put up and coming stuff in it. It was really cool.
It was good back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still good or not, but
I used to get it occasionally for demo games.
Yeah.
I'd look at the demo disc and I'd be like,
ow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'd play it for that one game.
Yeah. No, well then I'd play that game, but then I'd be like intrigued of what else is on that disc, and then get introduced with other stuff. It's the same as the only reason I bought the PlayStation magazine as well.
I do miss stuff like that.
Because PlayStation had some pretty good demo discs as well.
They did. Yeah. Not that I know.
Speaking of old school games, my last one for today. I'll leave that to me and you geeking out about it later, Stace. My last one for today is Gex. So the old school game Gex was a game on the PlayStation and on the 64. Is getting actually I don't even know what it's getting. It may be getting a remaster. I couldn't really.
No way.
It's working on porting the Gex trilogy to modern hardware.
Oh, cool.
It is a phenomenal game. So much fun. You play as a gecko.
Yeah.
In this zany Looney Tunes style world. And you just go around beating up enemies, similar to like Croc or Spyro or Crash Bandicoot, any other.
Yep.
Like, what are these? What are those called?
3D platformers, baby.
3D platformers. Thank you. Yes.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Cool.
It's very similar to those. I love it, dude. It's one of my favorite old school games.
I used to love Croc.
And it's getting ported. So
I wonder if they're going to change the celebrity jokes he says every time he launches into a new area to like more mainstream everyday things. Because those references were old already, let alone what they would be now.
They were really old back then.
I did see my neighbor playing this because my neighbor had a PlayStation, but I never did.
If you want to go to Gex 64, that's the one that probably most people will recognize.
Because my neighbor had a PlayStation, so I used to go around there and he used to play like Medieval and all that. And was it? It wasn't Mad Max. What was the Max Payne? Max
Payne, yes. Yeah. So if you just this one here is probably the one that most people will recognize. Very Super Mario-ish.
Yes.
You go around to get lives. You eat fireflies.
This is very much Super Mario.
Spyro.
No, the one where you go in and go into the paintings.
Yes, yeah. But they were all like that because Spyro did portals.
Yes.
Crash Bandicoot did warp plates. Croc did. What did Croc do?
I can't remember. Transitions.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Oh, that's right. Yeah. The trees.
What was the Banjo-Kazooie did a cool one, I think. I can't remember what it was, but I remember it being cool.
Donkey Kong did like islands-ish, different parts of an island. But
we should play
3D platformers. Dude, this is my bread and butter. This is what I grew up with.
We should play this.
Yeah, it's such a good game. It's such a good game. Passwords. Holy you remember passwords?
Yeah. Yes.
No save files. So you're writing down this big, and it was like on a D-pad, you're like 9.
Yep.
V.
So I was really lucky. I had the Rumble packs.
Yeah. We eventually got it.
That would save it locally, which was really cool.
Such a good game. Anyway,
we should definitely play that.
That's my last piece of news for today. You got anything else?
No, I only had the Valve lawsuit because I knew there was going to be some other stuff, and not totally unprepared at all.
Wild, have you got anything else in the gaming world that?
You got any news, buddy, that you're excited for? Anything at all?
No, at the moment, I think I covered it off. I think like Nintendo Direct has consumed my life, which is great. Actually, there is one piece of news for, I guess, still Nintendo adjacent for Aussie and New Zealanders is the Pokemon Nintendo Center, whatever it is, has opened for Australians now.
That's in Sydney,
you can purchase all the merch, right, that you want just in Sydney, which is excellent because now going to Japan, you don't have to do that.
Is it a couple grand. Is it a physical store or an online store?
Nah.
I think it's online.
It's online.
Yeah,
it's online. Okay.
But I'm guessing it's based out of Sydney.
Because physical, I'm buying a plane ticket to Sydney tomorrow, but no, not physical.
Oh yeah, no, I'm taking. But no, that's
cool.
Down to that.
Because I did actually mention this recently. So keep talking for a second.
Yeah. Well, if it opened as a real store, like I'd be taking Daniel down because he loves Pokemon, and I grew up with that, obviously. So like, it has to be done. What do you got here? What do you got in your hands?
They do.
Yes.
I spoke about it recently. They do these things. They do raffles, right, over there for special things. And so because Australians, you need a Japanese postcode to be in the raffle. Australians don't get access to some of this stuff. So I bought a whole bunch of Pokemon gym cards, which are special. I might have to bring it up closer.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, no, that's cool.
It is cool,
That's awesome.
We should definitely get like a top-down camera for stuff like this too. at some point. Yeah,
That
those
is
are cool as.
amazing.
I can't see them from all the way over there, but they're cool.
Um,
Huh? Thank you. Didn't need to be so violent about
sorry. So they're obviously I don't know what are in these packs.
Oh, see, these aren't even. Oh, okay.
These
so
aren't even open. These are sealed.
What? Okay, so what would they have in them normally?
I do have some. They just have special cards. They
Okay.
just have like special editions of a Pokemon or a trainer or.
So you're saying in like 10 years' time, you could throw these up on the eBay for a good, pretty penny.
Maybe. Highly doubt it.
Depending on how the market goes, you know, if you know this is your retirement fund. One of them's going to have a Charizard in it. Like first edition Charizard. Mate.
No, definitely not. But,
or like that guy who got I think he got like all Weedles out of his pool one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw one. I think it was a gimmick pack. He was pulling. He's like, "Oh yeah, Weedle. What the hell, Weedle?"
There are error packs. There are error packs.
It was just Weedle after Weedle, and he's like, he shifted the pack apart so you can see the tops of it. All of them except for the last one were a Weedle.
Like I got into it massively once.
Oh, he's gonna break out his stash.
There's just one
Look at this stash.
pack.
There's also
Of
magic cards.
magic cards and Pokemon cards in there. They're just all commons and stuff. And I've got a lot of those.
Just a couple.
I got massively into collecting sets. So
what you're telling us, mate, is that you're the reason that we have a Pokemon store in Australia now.
Yeah.
So that's good to see. Well done, man. Well done.
I'm excited for this because it means that I don't have to order overpriced cards from eBay.
Yeah.
And I can just order my stuff for me. So massive news.
Yeah.
Massive
That
news.
is really cool.
All right. Well, since that's all done, we're going to go into our next segment, which is something I'm very, very excited about. So we have Wild Refrain here, who would you say you're a bit of a you've played a lot of Stardew, right?
Only a little bit. What do you mean?
Yes.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
and I've seen you've done like things like speed runs for Community Center. You've done a bunch of different speed runs.
Yeah.
You've probably finished the game hundreds of times. We have Nick over here that only really knows about Abigail.
What do you mean? I've got like 500 hours in Stardew.
Okay, well,
I just don't do
More than
speed
me,
runs.
actually. Literally.
Hey? Just a lot.
So
Just
we're
a
going to
lot.
play a game.
It's me reloading a save to watch it eat rocks.
We're going to be playing a game called
Have we got a name for the game?
Yeah. I just need to find the game. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Who's that Pokemon?
Can you send me the list in
Abigail.
Discord, please? We're basically playing Who's That Pokemon but with Stardew characters.
I've got a bit of small tangent there. Have you seen those TikTok clips where they play Who's That Pokemon, but it's like abstractly drawn? It's like Baduffity's favorite pumpkin and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's like in weird poses.
Like different
Yeah,
positions,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
like it's different Pokemon, but like in the shape of another Pokemon, and they have to guess
you
it.
Bring up Discord. Oh yeah.
They have to guess it, and
No wait. Yeah, kick off.
like they have to guess around about what it is, like Baduffity's favorite Pokemon, or the top down view of Jigglypuff, or you know, stuff like that, or it's like one of the pixels in the eyes of a top down Jigglypuff. It's so good. It's so funny
good.
because they come up with some crazy shit.
I think I was talking to Nick Tacular about this. He sent me a YouTube video where you literally had
Ant, can you?
a guy that was designed around just doing these quizzes for people that were just puns and stupid takes on Pokemon. I think that I'll try and find his name. Actually, I'm sure I have it on me. But I've binged a lot of his videos in the last couple of days, just checking that out because, oh man, dad jokes and Pokemon, good
lovely.
combination.
That's exactly what you want. Like,
Okay, sorry about that.
that sort of stuff is just. I wish my feed was full of that. You know.
All right, so the aim of the game is to try and guess the Stardew villager. I'm going to have a bunch of clues for you guys, and it's almost like a blind date. I'm going to tell you a little bit about their personality, a little bit about them as a person, and from that information, you're going to try and guess who it is. It's 1 point per person
Should have brought
guessed.
those buzzers. Sorry.
Yeah, I should have brought the buzzers. 1 point per person guessed, but once again, the points don't matter whatsoever. So,
Sure they don't. Say that.
so are we ready
It's
for our
only
first?
glory and honor.
Yeah,
we're gonna
glory
have
and honor.
we're
That's
gonna
it.
have an end of year
Tally.
points chart of like who got what.
Yeah. Nick's gonna be on 3, and everyone. No, I'm just kidding. All right, are we ready? our first villager. I am a young male, and I was born during winter. I love frog eggs, frozen tears, obsidian, pumpkin soup, sashimi, and void eggs.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Sebastian.
You know,
Yeah, correct. Yeah, bang on.
Good job.
Well done.
Nice. So you just said void eggs,
all right,
which
nice.
is a really obscure
Oh,
thing to
void
know about
eggs.
somebody. It wasn't the rest of it. It was the void
Yeah.
egg.
So it's the sashimi for
thanks.
me. Like
The
sashimi.
sashimi.
Is the classic Sebastian gift when you want to get him leveled up quickly.
I've
Very
got
good
so
point, yeah.
they get progressively easier. Okay,
So
so
I've got an obscure
Oh.
one. It's funny because like everybody loves prismatic shards except for what's her face, the blonde one. I can't remember her name right now.
Haley.
Haley. Yeah,
Haley.
she hates prismatic shards.
lucky I
You
don't
know,
have
just the
Haley.
most rarest item in the game almost. She's like, no, it's a shit. Get it away from me.
So yeah, it'll progressively get easier. So they've got a similar feel the whole way through. But for the rest of Sebastian's, it's I love computer games, comic books, and sci-fi novels. I have a half sister and live with my parents, and I live on the mountain. At that point in time, you probably should have that. All right, next up. I'm a young female born during fall. I love books, diamonds.
Penny.
Oh wow, it is Penny. Yeah, it is actually Penny. Yeah. Well, you're better than this than I. You've got the list. I clearly.
Have you read this? Can you see
No, I
this?
can't see this. No.
All right.
See,
Is one-
the issue is, gents, that like as soon as you use Penny, I'm lost because Penny is the most boring NPC in the game. So
I was trying to find.
my bad. All right, sorry guys.
I was trying to find fun facts about it. And I was like, all I came up with was I like to cook and read books.
That's the problem.
There's nothing wrong with that, all right?
All right, next up, we've got middle-aged. I'm a middle-aged man born during summer. I love diamonds, escargot, fish tacos. I don't know what that next. Oh, oranges and tropical curry.
Is it Gus?
Gus.
Not Harvey.
It's Gus. Good
The
job.
mango.
The fish.
Yeah.
The fish I should have known.
I once slipped and fell into the lake, and everyone had to thaw me out inside the inn. This is the same person, by the way. And then the last one is I live in Pelican Town at my place of business. So yeah,
Nice.
Gus. All right, next up. So that's 2 and 1. All right. Although
Watch it all go downhill now.
Penny was kind of a not Penny. Sebastian was kind of a. You both came to the conclusion at the same time.
I just happened to say his name first.
All right. Next one.
All right, mate. I see how the game's played. All right, game on. Let's go.
Yeah, put your competitive hat on.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no.
I love amethysts, aquamarine, emerald, jade, and lava
Is it
eels.
Emily?
No, among other things.
Oh, dang.
I was born during the summer, and I'm not interested in marriage. I don't know why I'm telling you this. You could be a spy for the shadow people. Apunana,
It's the dwarf.
Zazinan. Yes, the
The
dwarf.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had very, very, very few interactions with the dwarf. So yeah.
That's why I threw him in. Gotta do it.
Yeah,
Gotta
it's a
do
good
it.
one. That's a
I
great
only ever
one.
go and buy bombs from him. I don't actually talk to him.
All right. Born during
Yeah.
winter. Born during winter, maybe.
Maybe.
I love diamonds, iridium bars, monster musk, pumpkins, among other things.
Krobus.
Yes, Krobus.
Yeah.
You can romance.
Got it from the
Krobus now,
start,
can't
but I
you?
wanted to let you out for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite movie snack is black licorice.
Gross.
And I'm not interested in marriage, but would appreciate a roomie.
Yeah, you can, I was gonna say you can't marry him. You can have him live in your house now. There is a mod to marry him.
There you go. So I think, like the points don't matter, but I think Wild won.
Oh yeah, only by one though.
It's
points
true.
are-
Only by one. Yeah.
Only by
Put that-
one, but
put that
still,
on the resume.
a win's a win. Okay, you guys know your stuff. So that was a 30-minute segment I was planning on.
So I never,
No, I'm just kidding.
I never went down into the sewers too often because I just spent too much time farming and not really doing anything with like the witch or anything like that.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I never felt the need to get rid of my kids.
I only just made it to the sewers in my last playthrough.
Yeah, fair.
Nice.
And I've played a lot of Stardew, but I never knew where the key was.
Yeah, You got to get it through the museum.
Yeah.
That's the trick. You got to do 60 items.
And that starting like
that's about half the items you got to donate, isn't it? Give or take. Yeah.
I think it's 140 total, but
140. Yeah. Is it 142? Why is that in my head?
I wonder. Now I'm checking.
42 is the meaning of life. So
maybe.
You know.
Maybe. Favorite marriage candidates?
I don't know.
Good one.
I don't know. You can go first, Wild.
Surely yours is Abigail, mate, if you like to watch her eat rocks, you know? Isn't that the easy win?
I don't know. It's not like I've jumped into your chat where you're playing it saying you need to marry Abigail or anything.
No, of course not. Never. No, for me, it's always Leah, man. Like, Leah is... Yeah, people say she's discount Robin, but those are just people who don't know class when they see it. You know what I mean? So,
it's still
Leah true. For me.
If you can't have Robin, you always go for Leah.
Look, I go after my... in the past, so I played Stardew really different from a lot of other
Who's the
people.
really long-haired dude again? I can't remember his name.
Elliot.
You go after Elliot, don't you?
No, I don't. No, I don't go after Fabio.
Fabio.
But I've only just like prior to I played Stardew completely different, and hence why I never did the museum. I just farmed.
Fair.
I didn't go into town and speak to anyone. I just farmed. So recently I've done, and I think my favorite person to sort of hang out with is Sebastian.
Fair.
It's that D&D scene towards the end that I'm just like, got to get the.
You'd probably like Maru as well, I reckon.
The same thing, or
no? She's just more technical.
Okay, yeah, that's not the technical. It's just the D&D.
Technical.
It's just the D&D.
Man wants to be a bard. Let him do it.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
I just want to play D&D. I just want to play a game where then inside the game, I role play playing D&D.
Go marry the nurse.
Does she play D&D?
Yeah, probably him.
Oh wait, he. Oh,
doctor.
Yeah.
Harvey,
sorry, the doctor
that nobody likes, and he's really depressed all the time.
Well, with Harvey. Is Harvey's the one with the glasses, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Curves brought up that Harvey looks very similar to someone out of a movie called what's it called?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Curves in the chat?
Oh man, Curves, what was the name of that movie?
Because obviously Elliot's the incorrect answer.
It's if you've seen the movie, I might wreck Harvey for everyone here who has seen this movie. The Lovely Bones. He looks like the bad guy from The Lovely Bones.
All right, let me Google it.
Oh my! Wow!
Right?
Yes,
can we look
that's so true.
Can we look up the guy from The Lovely Bones? We're talking like,
lordy,
serial killer here. And so there's a reason why Harvey is in the doctor's office.
Oh, interesting.
It's a Dexter situation, is it? Is that what we're talking about now? Like, it's a dark turn for Stardew Valley.
Sorry for anyone who likes Harvey. But as soon as Curves brought that up, I looked and went, "Oh my god, no way!"
No, I agree. Like that's uncanny, is what it is.
Yeah. The character's name is also Harvey.
Maybe that's
maybe
that's what he's modeled after.
Oh, his last name's actually Harvey.
Maybe that's what he's modeled after. That's cool as.
That's nuts.
So good.
There you go. I'm losing my voice.
You are, yeah.
Holy moly.
Because you don't like Abigail.
Oh, anyway. So all that aside, before we do go on to we're going to jump into some content creator chats and some chats about speedrun and stuff.
But hard questions. Yeah.
I do think it's a good time to take a quick break if we need to head to the toilet. I need to go and check on my kids and all that sort of stuff. So, but when we get back, sorry, I need to grab a drink of water too. I am losing my voice. We'll be about 5 minutes-ish.
Yeah, give or take.
And when we get back, we'll jump into some Stardew speedrun chats and some content creation stuff. So hang about and we'll be back very, very shortly. Perfect. All right. Apologies, guys. Internet troubles once again. And I have no idea. I have no idea what happened there. We lost. So for those that don't know, we're on mobile data internet through a portable modem.
Because it's better than the internet that you have up in the house, and that is atrocious up there.
But we lost all signal, so I don't know what actually happened there. But anyway, talking about Stardew speedruns, we'll just jump straight back into it as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. What happened? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
So is there like a speed run that you've been looking at recently that you've got coming up, or something you're practicing for?
Yeah. Yeah, so
like, damn right there
really
is.
important really important thing to understand is I don't practice speed runs. You know,
nice.
we just do it.
Just
We just go live. So the most I do is I get I have a mod of mine, Vicky. She is kind of very, very much embedded in the Stardew community and is a mod for a lot of Stardew people. And I recently found out how she did this. I'm really upset about it. She goes into the Discord for all the speedrunners and goes, "Hey, does anyone have a route for this?" And it kills me because it's always for someone who can kind of play the game but is new to speedrunning. And I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, so one of her favorite ones, and I recently did a challenge for the community for it, and they've won it, is to do what's called a seeded Krobus speedrun. So what that means is that we will pick a seed. So to an extent, we know what's going to happen. You know, certain things spawn based on the seed, similar to Minecraft. You know, if you
I understand
know what a seed is, you can know where to go. Yeah, exactly. So we do that, and it's as fast as you could become friends with Krobus is the idea.
Okay,
so
yeah,
actually
that's cool.
go and say hello to him. So we're expecting that to take like I think world record run at the moment is 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So that would entail going
go.
around and collect. Sorry, let me cut you off. The going around and collecting like all the collectibles that you need to get the sewer key. So when you say like the seed, are those collection spots pre-generated?
Well, yes, to an extent. So they are in the first spawn, but once you go into the mines, which is where the run really starts, we'll be tilling. We'll be using the axe to try and get what are words? Pickaxe rather, to go and try and get like omni geodes and so on to get access to then break them at Clint's and get the artifacts that way.
Yeah, so that's when
one
the
of the
RNG
interesting
really
things
kicks
about
in.
Yeah, exactly. One of the cool things about Stardew RNG before the newest update was that a lot of those things were predetermined. So people think that it's a random chance that you roll, you know, a prismatic shard, for example, from a geode. It's simply not true. There's like, if you're going to use a normal geode, this is the sort of progression. Sorry, my child has decided to come in and say hello.
He's a puppy.
Hi, Daisy. Good girl. But yeah, so there's like a predetermined sort of continuation of what you can expect out of every geode. And every time you crack one, it goes to the next sort of set of 3 or 4. So the seed, to my knowledge, and I don't know because I haven't practiced, the idea is that you can go and just crack them open and there'll be a bunch of artifacts in the process. So it's pretty exciting. That's a cool one, and it's not very popular. So it hasn't been run a lot.
Well, I kind of
means
imagine
top 2 is at least in my grasp.
Because that's that'd be a very, very long, and like repeating it and getting good at it and all that sort of stuff is going to take you hours upon hours. Whereas like a normal, like the one that we did, it's what, maybe an hour of constant practicing to sort of try and get. Like obviously they do it over and over again to get good at it, but like minimum 2-hour run, like that's
the more popular Stardew runs are pretty long, aren't they? Like Community Center is massive.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah,
well that makes sense because that takes a really long to do it. Yeah, never mind.
I've seen a lot of I don't think it's as long, but I've seen a lot of Joja completions as well. I don't know how long they take.
We did that recently.
How long did that one take?
They don't take very long.
No, because it's only money, isn't it?
6 minutes for me. Yeah, hour and 6 minutes.
Money.
Hour and 6 minutes.
If you can RNG it properly and get the right crops and make all your money, like there are ways to make insane amounts of money within the first like 10 days or whatever it is.
I thought you said 6 minutes.
Yeah,
I was like, what? How?
No, God, no. Oh, imagine. No, so there's a cool mechanic called winter forage farming, which I actually cover in one of the TikToks. It's quite confusing to explain, if I can be completely honest, just without visual aids. But effectively, you can guarantee to till a crop every time you swing your hoe on the ground at the beach.
Is that the one where you like do one, go up 1 and 2, do it again, 1 up and 1 and 2?
Yeah, I did that for Cole.
And so you just do that.
I did that for coal along the beachfront when I
Fair.
needed it for.
Was it coal or clay?
Oh no, clay. Sorry,
Yeah.
coal. No, not coal. Clay.
Because I remember you saying that you were having a lot of trouble finding clay in your foraging, and then I think you saw that and you were like, oh, all right, cool, let's do that.
Yeah, no, someone brought it up in my stream. They were like, you know, there's a almost definite way of getting clay. I was like, what?
Tell me.
Yeah.
Don't withhold this knowledge from me. Yeah, okay, that sounds sick. I'm really excited that I've got a friend that's sort of getting into that speed run because I love speed runs. I watch GDQ constantly. It's like almost my number one thing watched on YouTube. And I haven't been able to get into the Australian scene as much. I think it just doesn't come up on my YouTube as much as GDQ. But no, that's awesome. I love that. Absolutely love that.
It is really. I'm not a huge fan of speed running myself, but it can be quite interesting to watch because, like, as a Stardew, like I've been playing Stardew since basically it come out. I've been playing on and off, got multiple saves. I didn't grow up, but one of the first YouTubers I was watching was Dangerously Funny. He was huge in the Stardew scene, and like he was all about doing the breaking the game in a lot of ways. Or he had this really long one. Then he went into mods and stuff, but. It is really interesting to see how people find like that one, the tilling thing where you can, one up, one across, all that sort of stuff. And like it's interesting how like somebody figured that out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then how they've taken that and it's like, oh, I can use this in a speed run. Like,
It's some really interesting stuff coming out. So again, and like this is the third time I mentioned him now, but Blade, he created this thing called the Stardew Valley Predictor, which looks at the code to tell us what would happen if you tilled in a certain location or you used a geode or whatever it may be. And it's very interesting because what you end up seeing in these speedrunning communities is someone comes out with a tech and then someone figures out a technique to take advantage of it. So Blade came out with this predictor, and then a gentleman by the name of Piano Addict came out and figured out a pattern. And it just gets more and more and more. It's incredible.
It's it's the same as I was recently watching I can't even remember the name of the speed run, but it was on GDQ and it was a Alien Isolation one. And literally what he was doing, it wasn't even a speed run really. It was just him showcasing the tech. Just a bunch of different stuff. Yeah. So wall clipping, like tricking the alien, tricking the robots, like all that sort of stuff that they use to do any number of speed runs, but it was just showing off that tech. And every time he spoke about it, it was like, such and such did this, and they found you could do this. And at the time, it meant nothing to us. And then someone was like, hey, what if we then use that over in this area and cut off 5 minutes?
Can I ask you a question, Wild? In terms of speed runs, what was, in your experience, the very first speed run that you come across, or like what was the first thing you would have considered a speed run? I've got one. I've got my own personal one.
So I didn't know much about, like, let me be real. When I first learned about YouTube, I spelt it very differently. I thought it was like YouTube, right? When I learned, right? So I didn't have, like, I was not an internet kid until a very long time ago, right? Until very recently, I should say. Sorry,
baby.
But my first speedrun that I ever saw was actually Nintendo 64 Mario. So watching people do like the back, like, when you're at the stairs and you do the backwards jump. And you clip right through the star wall and you're like, what? That was my first sort of exposure to those sorts of things. But I think speedrunning is really kind of almost a primal thing. It's like, I'm so good at this game, watch me finish it in like next to no time at all. Yeah. And so I think I've just been drawn to that aspect of it. But no, I'd be keen to know, like, where did you start, mate? What was your thing?
My very first personal experience with it is Super Mario 64, with figuring out that you can, tap and spam the button to go up the side of the mountain to get to the top and take out the big bomb up the top. But I think the very first one that I did was on the Super Mario or Mario Kart.
Yeah. Oh, Rainbow
Road, where you can finish that map in about 2 seconds. Yeah. And I got so good at it that none of my friends wanted to play with me anymore. Can't do it anymore. But I remember going into the map and I can't even remember how I figured it out. I just remember accidentally driving off the side one day and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then from then on, I just exploited the shit out of it. I think there's another map where you can, I can't remember what it is, you can just go up and then they do a bit of a shortcut, come around, and then about 2 seconds later, you're at the finish again. And you're like, you know.
My first one was
it's so cool.
Dark Souls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything in like the old Mario games or figure
Not
out any
until
of those?
later. Well, I mean, like little things like that. Yeah. Little things. But like
Oh, well, like proper speed
a
running.
proper
Yeah.
speed run style thing is I played Dark Souls the first time and it took me forever to finish it. Absolutely forever. Because, you know, traversing through the land, trying to find which way to actually go, it's a big game. And then the second time when I knew where everything was, because I practically played it back to back, I was like, that was amazing. I got loaded up again. And and so I did. And I bet it in like a quarter of the time of my first one. I was like, it was really quick. And I was living with Muchacho, and he was playing it around at the same time as me. And we both got up to a specific boss, which is called the run, like basically the game breaker. You either progress past this boss or you never play the game again.
Fair.
Ornstein and Smaug. And I left Mitch at Ornstein and Smaug, and I kept playing. And then I started playing again. I got up to Ornstein and Smaug again, and I was like, dude, I just got up to ONS again. And he's like, what? What do you mean? What? I was like, did you end up
That's
like
so good.
And he's like, no, I'm still stuck on that fight. I was like, wait, what? And then to me, I was like, man, I must have played this really fast. So then I searched up Dark Souls speed runs. And I'm like, you know, 15, 16, maybe a little bit more in. And there's like a guy that beat it in 6 minutes. I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, there's always one, dude. There's always one.
I was like, yeah, no, never mind. And then I watched there's a whole bunch of clipping and a whole bunch of like a lot of manipulation. And I watched the first like 2 minutes of it and went, what? What?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
No, I definitely couldn't.
So, but yeah, that was my first. And then from then on, I started watching GDQ regularly.
Yep.
Because that was what I watched it on. I watched I think I watched the summer event, and then my YouTube was just like, here, watch this. I've watched speedruns for games I've never played, probably never will play.
Mm-hmm.
I watched one for I think it was Domino's based video game. Was it Domino's? I think so.
Like
had a speed run.
the tile or the pizza? What are we talking?
Push it
the pizza.
over.
Yeah, no, the pizza.
Oh,
You're a pizza delivery guy, and you're like running back and forth. You got to skip all the people coming out of the doors. Like you're trying to deliver to someone. People are opening up doors. If you drop the pizza, you lose the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched. I
love it.
I can't even remember, Attack of the B grades or something like that. I can't remember what the name of the segment was. This guy just back to back did a whole bunch of B grade games. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I think there was a Cheetos one as well.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Pepsi Man, you know?
Yeah, Pepsi Man was another one. Yeah, those heaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my first.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
But on that though, so we've got speedruns. What how did you get into gaming?
Yeah, cool. So like I think for me, there are kind of like two entry points for me because I've always been interested in games since being a young lad. So I grew up in Queensland, which is north of Australia, and I lived in a pretty closed off community. Like I lived in a town that had 3 streets at the time. That's no longer the case anymore. But like, back then there were 3 streets in my town.
That's huge.
And my auntie, she actually had a farm, and I was too small to help out on the farm, and I was too small to like do anything cool. My sisters went off and did all that. And then my cousin was chilling, and he had a Sega, an old Sega system, like the first home one. And so my first gaming experience was playing the very original Sonic the Hedgehog. Green Hill, like a Green Path or whatever. No, Green Hill Zone.
Yeah, Green Hills. Yeah, Green Hill Zone 1.
Yeah, just playing that, man, and getting into it. But the truth was that like my family, we weren't super well off. Like that was just the part of the time at the moment. And so I didn't really get back into games until about when the PS2 launched. So when
Yeah,
the
nice.
PS2 launched, my parents got it for me, and I was like, "Oh, what is this? Is this a Sega?" Like I only really knew what a Sega was.
Oh no.
Um, and so
That's
I
great.
got this silly game called Crash Bandicoot. And I had the first one, even though I had the PS2. You know, backwards compatibility existed back
Mhm.
then. And
Yeah.
playing that game was just incredible until you got to that level where you know the one where you like it's like the turtles in the sky and you're like
Oh
going on
yeah,
this
yeah.
bridge,
Yeah.
and
Oh, the
it's
bridge
like
one
there's
is
no depth perception. Yeah,
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
yeah.
You're like, got
I
that
played
one
it
little
back
plank.
recently.
You got that one little
Yeah,
plank,
yeah.
and you're like, I got to make it to that plank. Just tap, and you're like, overshoot. Okay, tap it less,
Yeah.
undershoot.
Yeah. I played it back recently. That game is brutal. That
It
game is
is,
too
yeah.
hard. I don't understand what we
It's
did. Yeah.
ridiculous. I did say, did you play the remaster?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I did say that because of joysticks, they did change the input sensitivity. So going back and playing it again was different from when you first played it because input sensitivities were out. They had to add the 360-degree input sensitivity rather than just
Of course.
yeah. So because I had this, I played it and I was like, dude, why is this so much harder than when I first played it as a 6-year-old? How?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
I feel like I'm better at video games than
Yeah,
that.
instead of having a D-pad, yeah.
And then yeah, so I
Yeah.
looked it up. I was like real salty. I was like, why is Crash Bandicoot harder?
Clearly.
Why am I so shit at
I
games?
love how it's like, it can't be me.
yeah, it can't be me. Yeah,
That's
nice.
great.
That's,
But yeah,
that's
so that was-
awesome.
That was it for me. Yeah. Like once I got that PS2, like, you know, I just went off from there. And then you know, I found like MOBA gaming. Like I was really into Dota when it was a thing. And then unfortunately, like even League of Legends, you know, all that sort of stuff, like, you know, got
Toxic.
into it. Still play it to this day.
Oh, nice.
It's I can't get rid of it.
What do you?
It's
What do
like
you? Yeah.
it's like
Can
a
we?
growth.
Can we cut play that?
Yeah, get rid of it. Yeah. Who's this noob, right?
We don't need
Nah,
that
but,
toxicity
like,
in here.
no.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's why I play Stardew. It counteracts it. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
it's just keeping me sorted. You know,
Bloody League of
but yeah,
Legends.
like I absolutely love it now, and it's become something that's like useful in more than one setting. I think a lot of people end up saying like, if you're a gamer, you know, you're shut off and like you're not doing the right thing with your time. And while sometimes that can be true, I find more and more that like gaming these days is just so much more than what it was back then. You get to communicate with people, you get to have a good time with people. And a lot of the people who are gamers, even in like the workplace, like excel because of the things they learned from gaming about
Yeah.
how to make quick decisions and all these things.
Exactly.
And so it's like something I carry and I go, yeah, you know, when I go to work, this is such a nerdy thing. I have a little like pin that's like a Legend of Zelda thing that doesn't look like a Legend of Zelda thing. You know, when I like have to be all corporate, I'm like, oh, but I'm still a gamer, dude. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
nice.
just because it's so core to the identity, it gets to hang around. So
I was,
no, I love it. It's so good.
I was super embarrassed about it for a very long time, like to the point where I stopped playing video games because I was too worried about what.
Really?
Yeah. My footy friends.
Oh,
'cause
you
I
had cool
I used
friends.
to
That's
play.
why.
I used to play footy. I was a bit of a jock, bit of a dick.
Was.
Was.
I'm kidding.
But so like, you know, if a new video game was coming out and because back then, or they might still do it, I don't know. In high school, we had to get street passes to go down the street. During lunchtime, you get like a signed form from your parents saying Anthony needs to go down and pay a bill for me, and then you can go down. So
we just snuck out.
eventually I started doing that, but
Same.
Like I was a goody two shoes and I snuck out.
so I used to get my street pass to go down for a game release, right? And people would be like, "Oh, where are you going?" But I just gotta walk the turtle. No, well, that's not what I said. But, you know, I'd make up some excuse so that no one knew I was buying a video game just from fear of getting bullied or something like that.
That's a valid.
Nowadays,
Couldn't care less.
everyone.
Yeah.
There's like, you know, people, there's people on Twitch that are AFL superstars that stream playing video games, play COD or whatever it is.
Really?
Yeah. I think they've got a channel. I think it's AFL channel, and they play COD or they'll play NBA 2K or something like that, and they just hang out and people get to hang out with them. I think it's
That's
awesome.
so good.
The
That's
newest
like farmers playing Farm Sim.
Yeah. The newest UFC game, not that this is actual someone streaming, but the newest UFC game, one of the ways to promote your fight is to stream a game. And I was like, that's kind of cool seeing that in a video game from a fighter's perspective. I know there's also bands with band members that stream video games.
I know Ronnie
Radke.
He streams on Twitch.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And so does.
I love his TikTok videos where like people like ragging on him, and then he just appears out of nowhere, and it's like, that's me, motherfucker.
I know two of the guys from A Day to Remember, they stream on Twitch as well, and so it's becoming more of an accepted thing to play video games. Most people do. And going off on what you said there, sorry to go on a tangent. This is a big tangent we're going on right now. Learning skills from video games.
Yes, yeah. Well, if you remember back in the day, there was a whole thing about how like doctors, their hand-eye coordination, they were apparently giving out Game Boys and consoles and stuff because the controller, it teaches you to focus on something while not looking at your hands. So they're like in, doing a surgery and they're not focusing on what they do. They're focusing on what's beyond.
Yeah. Well, my reflexes, Kayla will be watching me play something like Overwatch or something like that. And, you'll hear a noise and you'll flick around and see someone and shoot at them. And Kayla will be like,
oh, sorry.
How did you even see that person? Yeah. Where, like, you had like 2 seconds to turn your, and I'm like, I don't know, they were there the whole time. Just like, I didn't even see them. And so reflex is a massive one, but problem solving and logic. So I've got a 5-year-old. She's been playing video games since she was about 2.5. Some people will tell you that's bad. But for me, she's got really good logic. She's got relatively decent problem solving for a 5-year-old. Some problems you can't solve as a 5-year-old, but most of it's pretty good. And and a lot of it comes from video gaming, making decisions based off of feedback you're getting from something. And it's a really good skill to learn really early.
Well, if you go back to our childhood, and not to keep harping on about Super Mario 64, a lot of those uncovering of stars and all this sort of stuff involved you figuring out like how to get from A to B.
Yeah.
Any sort of pos challenges, obviously the quickest way to do it, like jumping into once you unlock the cannon, you can shoot yourself all the way to the top. And, trying to navigate those boulders, like it teaches you, not like hand-eye coordination, problem solving. Yeah, your logic skills are definitely up there. Like Tetris.
Yeah.
Tetris was a huge, still is a big one because you've got to make all the perfect lines.
Dude, my reading skills, this is a 2-part. My reading skills went through 100%. The roof as soon as I got Pokemon and Animal Crossing for Addie right now. So she hasn't learned how to read yet. She started playing Animal Crossing. She can't understand anything they're saying. They're all sitting there going, and she's like, she comes up to me. She's like, Dad, what does this say? And, sometimes I'm cooking dinner or something. I'm like, I don't know. Just give me 2 seconds. And now she's like, I want to learn how to read, Dad.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to read.
Yeah. I was watching back a video of Autumn the other day that like saved on Snapchat, just watching her talk. She was 3. And the way that she articulated and formed her sentences was just perfect. But you wouldn't expect from a 3-year-old. Like at that level. Now, I think that was a lot of like, Daniel was just starting to get into games at the time and, playing, we had a Switch and all that. And I think obviously the TV definitely helps in that regard. But they were starting to play those little games like that and having like Pokemon and all that. And Animal Crossing and then looking at it today and looking back, it's like, what's happened? There's
a lot that video games do give. There's still a lot of old school people that are like, you'll rot your brain playing video games all day.
It's about moderation.
Well, I don't know. What you said.
It is. It's about moderation because you can put yourself in a bit of a spiral where all you do is play video games and then, because you're not getting any of those other things that people do need to function. Like
it depends on what you're playing and how, like if you're part of a community, say like a Twitch community or something like that, where there's meetups, there's Discord hangouts, there's the opportunity to talk to people. It's not that bad.
No.
Because all I do,
no, you're still getting the socialization that you need. You're still getting, all the stuff. But like, it really depends on how you present yourself in those sorts of things. Because like for a 10-year-old,
Oh
It
yeah,
is.
definitely.
It's
Fortnite's-
like let's go back, 20 years or whatever it was. Yeah, get back then. If you played games literally all day, every day, you wouldn't
No,
probably
100%.
other than you wouldn't develop your people skills for one. You wouldn't be able to socialize properly and all of that. But then, yeah, you compare it today with like Twitch and Discord and other platforms. Like,
it's a much more social event
Yeah.
these days. Speaking about Twitch,
Segue.
you're welcome.
I love
I didn't even see the question. It lined you up perfectly.
how long have you been making content for?
Oh, great question. So I started making content very haphazardly in December 2021.
2021.
I
What are we
think-
in?
2024. So what?
Yeah.
3 years?
3 years ago.
So,
yeah.
so
Two and a bit years.
yeah, I think so. I
Was
think
that
that's
on?
right.
Was that
yeah,
on Twitch?
So kind of 2 and a bit years here on Twitch. Yeah, just here
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Twitch. So basically, my boss at the time was still is a partnered Twitch streamer. Who in the it's so weird. It's so weird.
That's so
But
cool.
a partnered Twitch streamer in the Minecraft space.
Oh,
And
really?
one day we were just talking. Yeah. You probably know him. Like this is the thing. I got to be really careful, right? So I was playing games. I was talking to him about games at work, and we were playing Age of Empires together after work one day. And he was like, "Hey man, you've got everything. Like I have a music studio, as you can probably see here, and I had like the Shure SM7B. He's like, dude, just throw a camera on, play some video games, and see what happens." And here we are. So
That's
it's
sick
quite
as.
interesting.
That's a nice push,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Everything
that
you
is
need,
really
dude.
cool. Yeah.
Just give it a shot. Why not? That's awesome.
I think that's it, right? Like just go live was his advice. Just go live, see what
And
happens.
that's, you know what?
And
Is that the advice you'd give to a new streamer as well?
yeah, like I
Yeah.
think just go live is a great thing to say. I think that like there are 2 types of people who stream though, right? There are people who want to go into it as a hobby and they don't care where it goes. And most of the time you want to be that person, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
yeah.
That all the successful people start there. If you go into it and you want to like make this like a concise effort, you want to try and build on it and grow it and make something different. There probably is different advice that I would give, but if you're not going live and your goal is to be a streamer, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
100%. It's like,
Yeah.
it's the same. I heard someone say it recently, in that vein, if you're trying to lose weight and you're not doing exercise, and like, you're sitting on the couch, you're doing something wrong.
You're not doing anything to change it.
Yeah. It's
Correct.
like, man, I really want to
Yeah.
be a streamer. When are you going to stream? I don't know.
Yeah. And
Next week,
the
maybe the
worst-
week after.
the worst thing is what ends up happening with people who don't start something. I think we're all guilty of this to some degree, right? Is, oh, I'll wait until I buy this piece of equipment, or I'll wait until this person gives me this thing that I desperately need. And it's
Yeah.
like when you start something, it's not unique to have few viewers. You're not going to have a situation where you start and you have 1,000 people in your chat. That's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
I don't feel
So
called out
test
at all.
early, make mistakes early, just get used to the craft. And then you'll you might be able to do something really successful out of it.
To be
So,
fair,
I don't know.
on
It's
that-
interesting.
on that note as well, there are some people within like stream tip circles, at least when I started, that did say, buy this,
Yeah.
buy that, buy this.
Yeah.
Is your webcam shit? Well, you need to get it fixed because it's a visual thing. And at the start, I was like, I can't afford a webcam. I might just go live without one. And then I watched a video and I was like, but I can't because this person has said you need to have a webcam.
So I'm guilty of that. The making up reasons and excuses. A lot of mine comes down to the time. I work a full-time job and I drive 45 minutes one way. 45 minutes in, 45 minutes out. And I watch my kids in the afternoon. So like it's hard for me when I get home at 7:30, 8 o'clock, sometimes even 9 o'clock at night to sit down and go, all right, I'm going to stream for an hour and a half, 2 hours, if not more. And then go to bed, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, rinse and repeat,
And that's why it comes down to
It's very hard.
Elaine Eddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know Elaine Wild?
I probably do. I
Probably
probably don't.
do.
Oh yes, no, I do. Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do
Pretty
know.
cool person.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
plays Minecraft quite a bit,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
From memory.
Elaine's awesome,
Yeah.
and
I've rated her
Elaine
a
put
few
out a
times. Wonderful
short
person.
like 2 years ago, and this is where that comes into it. And this is not calling you out.
No,
it's just this is at some point you got to go. If I'm not actually doing it, or if I can't do it, maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Because some people, like, you're not doing it, you're not doing this, but some people will then use that and they'll build it up inside of themselves as such a boiling pot of anxiety. By the time they get to a certain point where they're actually ready to press that go live button, they can't do it.
No, I've obviously I've hit the button a few times. Like I have gone live. It's just ever since then, it's like every time I sit down to do it, I'm like, I just can't be bothered.
But you also
I want to go to bed.
You do go live once a week.
Yeah,
as
or
well.
I try to.
You do.
Oh yeah, well this is yeah.
And this is it. Look, we've got a few in the chat that are saying, calling me out.
Yeah.
It's a widespread thing. It really
it's a very common thing.
And it's not.
I have.
Yeah. It's not something that you should be ashamed about.
No. It's like I've got everything I need except for, well, I've got the webcam, but to set my camera, I just need a cam link.
Yeah.
I meant to go and buy it today. Completely forgot. But yeah, I've got everything everything there. Like a lot of it is just forgetting.
Yeah.
It's but for me it's making myself do it and enjoying it.
Yeah. And then it's there's a lot in it that I don't think needs to be in it.
Just in general. Yeah.
Yeah. My first, say, like 3 months of streaming, I had my, dodgy little Logitech C920. Awesome little thing as a starter. Awesome entry. Like there's better stuff now. Like the face cam, the Elgato face cam is insane.
Oh yeah.
It's so cheap too. But I had that, and then
to make ours perfect, we need the teleprompter one.
But we don't actually need it.
No, we do.
You don't need it, but it is very good. I can tell you.
I want it, but I don't need it.
We need two.
And there was one point where I wanted to stream Last of Us 2, but I didn't have a capture card. So I was like, what am I going to do? So grabbed my PlayStation out, found out you can stream directly from the PlayStation console.
Oh, can you now?
And I had a VR setup with the camera. I could have a face cam through my PS4. It was dodgy. Like this tiny little box up in the corner, and chat always showed up on your screen, like took up half your screen on the actual stream. So it showed the entire of your screen with viewer count that you couldn't turn off and a full chat. And I was like, oh, well, I still had fun. And that was at the point where I learned it doesn't matter what I look like. Yeah. It doesn't matter what I sound like. Because, 4 of those streams I had 0 people.
It's all about the energy you bring.
Yeah. But I was loving the game. I had so much fun with the game. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I can do PlayStation.
I think that's also a bit of a turning point you come is when you have that. You finally hit that point where you're like, I'm having fun with this.
Yeah.
This is something that, finding that thing that you're really enjoying doing and then doubling down on it. Because if you don't find like that little connection that makes you go, oh, yeah, nice. Oh, this is cool. I can do this. I feel good about it. You're just not going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
What made you when your friend said like you should make content, had you thought about doing content prior to?
No. So there's probably more to that story, and I think it's worth a mention because she's not here, and if she heard me not say this, it wouldn't be worth it. Like I went through like a lot of people, right? I think you go through moments of your life where things get a little bit tricky. And real life is messy and it's a roller coaster, and you got to experience some downs to really experience like what the ups feel like, right? And I went through a really hard time when I was younger, and I had this incredible content creator. It was a YouTuber who I just, every time he launched a video, it was League of Legends at the time. So, again, don't hold me to it, but he just had so much fun and so much joy in what he did. Right. And so, he would literally brighten my day and still does to this day, right? And I don't think I ever thought to myself, I want to be a content creator. But what I did think was, I want to like give people the joy that this person made me feel, right? And so my wife, when I told her the story of my boss telling me, was like, why don't you try it and just see? Same as the guy, right? And she's continually a massive supporter of it. But I never had the thought of wanting to do it. And until my boss and my wife, like two very important figures at the time, came in and said, do it, did I realize and make the connection that, hey, I've kind of wanted to do this in the past. I just didn't think I was capable of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And having it, well, I like looking in the background, it seems like you've got a setup for something else as well in there. So like it's a good point. If you've got all the stuff, why not?
We were talking about that before.
Like, it's the same with when we were talking about the Level Up Lounge. It's like, I've got everything, dude.
Yeah, let's do it.
Why not?
I think the only real thing that we went out and got was the Rodecaster.
Yeah.
And obviously the mics, but like that was the thing that really, like, you obviously had all your stream set up. We had the room pretty much the way that we wanted it, and then we bought that, and it was like, all right, this is real.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yeah. So did you once you did go live, did you sort of go and tell your boss, or did you just hold off for a little while and be like, I'm not gonna say anything yet? Or
I think I did 3 streams where it was like, 30 minutes, like, and on Twitch that's like nothing.
Yeah.
It's not how you grow. It's not how you get viewers. But yeah, I went live for 30 minutes a couple of times. I got like maybe 10 followers in those 3 streams max. I think one of them was my wife. The rest of them were randos, which was great.
That's pretty good.
And yeah, pretty good. It wasn't bad, eh?
Yeah.
And
that's not too bad.
I told him,
looking back on numbers now, like, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I think it was mainly for my dog. So something I did set up very early was a way to show off my dog, because she's my pride and joy, which is great. But anyway, so once we did that, we did go off and tell him. And the good thing was, and at the time it was ironically like a little bit frustrating. I was like, I was like, oh, so how do you grow? And he's like, oh, you might get raids and stuff. And I took that young little streamer Wild was like, oh, he's gonna raid me, and then I'm gonna become big and all this stuff. And it's like, he never did, which is great. I'm so glad he never did, because I learned how to grow my community, right? I learned how to do it properly. And I loved it every single second of the day. And I fell in love with the craft. And then when you look back, you realize how much it's changed you as a person for the better.
Massive.
And I've just loved it ever since. So
like,
never thought about doing it, but then here we are. Like,
I can relate to that there. Like, ever since starting doing this and actually, committing to it, I definitely have changed I think personally for the better in a lot of ways. There's still downs and all that, but I feel like I'm more getting back to me, Yeah. Instead of just sort of plodding along with life and not really doing nothing.
And on the raid note as well, I've told this story on the podcast before. We had someone who started streaming.
No, I didn't.
And because I had a similar effect where my community grew far too quickly, and I didn't know how to deal with it, and I just sort of shut down and went. There was one point we had like 150 to 170 people in there, and I just didn't know how to handle it. I switched off for a little while and started playing different games and just went like, what do I do? What do I do? But anyway, at this point in time, Nick started streaming, and he was like, when are you going to raid me? And I was like, all right, do you want to raid? He was like, yeah.
All right, Nick, fuck you.
So I raided him with like 180.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I didn't know this, one of my friends also raided him with about 200. And he just shut down. It's like you go from
400 people in there.
What'd you go from? You had like 5 people?
3 to 5 people, yeah.
Yeah, up to like 500 for...
a good 10 minutes or so, something like that. But, just tanked. It just tanked me. I stopped streaming that day.
Yeah.
I didn't go live again.
That was his last stream.
Yeah.
And I felt bad.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not your fault. I did ask for it.
Yeah.
But like that really, like, it was more overwhelming than anything. And I don't know why I just didn't press the go button again, because obviously there wasn't going to be that many people again.
No.
But like, I think I had a lot of other things going on as well. But yeah, that was a fun experience.
But you are correct. It's a lot better to grow the community in a good pace so that you know how to manage it.
Which I think we're doing well with this.
Yeah, 100%. You know how to talk.
Definitely.
You know how to read chat. You know how to manage it. You know what you're looking for in your community, or not looking for, but I shouldn't say it like that. But like, you know what sort of vibe you want.
Yeah.
If your chat's moving at 100 miles per minute, you can't see anything.
No, you can't connect with anybody.
You don't know what sort of vibes going on in there. So that's awesome point. But I would have loved to have I would have loved to have sort of seen that first interaction with you back, like, hey boss, started streaming.
Yeah.
It's fun. And your boss is just sort of sitting there going, yeah. I would have loved to
He
have
was
seen
very
that.
good about it. He was a legend about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Recently you jumped into other types of content, so like shorts and Twitter and Instagram, I'm assuming as well. Did you have a game plan going into that? I feel like I know the answer to this. Or did you just take a dive?
Okay, so a mix. One was I knew that I had to do it, and it was on my list for a long time. Like buying the Cam Link, Nick, I had to do it. I knew I had to make it happen. And so I had a huge plan. I had everything mapped out. So my job outside of streaming is largely around algorithms and content in general. Just I never did it for me. So I had literally been consulting businesses on how to do this stuff for them for about 7 years before I decided to do it,
Nice.
which is very successfully, might I add, but like it's a little bit dodgy, in a way, to be I'm an expert, but I had no personal experience doing it, outside of doing it for companies. And so I had a huge game plan. So obviously, like I'm sure we've mentioned Notion. I know you've mentioned Notion on the
just a little
podcast
bit.
before.
Love Notion.
Notion's amazing.
The Notion board is crazy, man. Let me tell you. So I have all my content verticals. So like, what are the things I wanted to talk about? You'll notice that when I launched all my shorts, I picked a very different topic each time to test how each platform would individually respond to what type of content. So for example, YouTube really loves that to do how to break the game. Like they love that stuff, predominantly male audience, very strong in the US, really interesting, at least for Stardew content. It's different.
There's two YouTubers that I watch that break the game as Let's Game It Out and Spiff and Brit. They are the two big ones that I follow. Like Spiff and Brit makes his living off of exploits and exploiting games and all that. And Let's Game It Out is just chaos incarnate. Like,
yeah, he is.
And it's just fun to watch. Like that is entertaining for me.
Yeah, it is, and it matches the audience for YouTube. And then when I went over to TikTok, it's so funny. So at the end of one of my videos, I was trying to be the nice guy because I'm trying to be nice to all the characters. But one of the characters the community doesn't like is Mayor Lewis because he steals your money and makes a golden statue for himself.
Yep.
Is this the giving back the underwear to Mayor Lewis?
No, that went really well. Yeah, that was a good one. I like that one.
Yeah,
what it ended up being was at the end of a video, I said the phrase we made a joke about Mayor Lewis, and I said the phrase, "Nah, we love you, buddy," as a passing Australian thing, just to be like, "Hey, man, no offense, you're all good," thinking that I was doing the right thing. TikTok hated that, man. I got so much engagement from that. But just seeing how different groups react to different types of content. And it was a game plan. I had it planned out. I admittedly didn't plan that particular bit. But I had a plan about, I'm going to do a topic on something that blends Stardew with the real world, something on speedrunning, something on an interesting fact people won't know. I want to talk about something everyone talks about. That's the Mayor Lewis, what do you do with his pants thing,
Yep.
And then I wanted to do some clip content and see how that worked given the results I saw on Twitch. So I had a lot of plans about how to do it. And I will say it exceeded my expectations in many ways because I didn't think it would you always got to assume you're not going to smash it out the park
Yeah.
or even do pretty good on something. You just want to test to figure it out.
Yeah.
But a couple of them did really well. But I learned a lot. That's the big thing. I really learned a lot from it.
Which is awesome to hear.
I do love that you can once you're better friends with Lewis, you can actually put stairs in his house now and go into his basement.
As you can.
Is there like another pair of shorts in there or something? Yeah.
And they attack you.
There is.
Oh, really?
They do.
Where was I going? I had another.
Sorry.
I had something lined up.
Sorry, dude. We're talking
Just
about
derailed
shorts
you,
now.
yeah.
This is it now.
Just derail. You know what? Let's just talk about random stuff now.
Let's just while he's trying to figure out. I'm a big fan of Notion, and
that's
Kath has shown me some tips and tricks with that. Like, what do you use Notion for? Like in regards to just like everything, or?
Yeah, I'm not as prolific about it as Kath definitely was. She has like calendars and stuff in there.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. So what I do is I have an idea dump. So actually, to be fair, I got my Notion template. So they're just the base thing from Elliot. So 8-Bit Elliot, a lot of you would probably know him. He has
guy.
one available that just gives to everybody. It has probably a little bit more than what I needed, but it has a spot for ideas, and then off ideas that you could tag each idea with what type of content it was going to be. Yep. And then you could put all your scripts in there and link it to Google Drive and all that stuff. Mainly, it was just an indented Google Doc, just presented in a nice way for me. But I did go back and put in stats and whatnot that really worked well for my stuff so that I wouldn't lose out on the knowledge that I learned from each video that I learned from. That was really good.
I'm in the process of building a games library inside of Notion at the moment with all the games that we have, upcoming games that we might want to play, games that are on a backlog, assigning them tags, ratings, overall, who owns them, who doesn't own them, so that we can go into the search bar and be like, all right, I want to play this game. Or like you can search up a certain tag or genre of the game and be like, all right, these are all the games I want to play. Let's go. And it's just, I don't know, it's just fun.
And this is why he doesn't have time to stream.
It's just fun. I'll stream that. I'll stream building the Notion.
You know what? There's probably an audience out there that'll watch that.
There would be.
Idea dump. That is such a good idea.
It is. I do have an actual thing in there for that as well.
But I haven't. Is it just a blank page where I can
just
dump
ideas,
stuff in?
Yeah.
There's no extra tables or anything.
I can set you up one.
I use a table.
I
use
would
a table
like,
for mine.
Yeah, a table.
I would like just a straight up blank space because my idea dumps go on a journal, like a written out journal, and then it gets left up in the house, and I don't touch it. I
can set you up a separate panel for idea dumps.
Or
do you want it in your own?
No, it's all right. For this as well.
Yeah. I'll set one up. Not tonight because I'm not home tonight, and I don't have it. I have it on my phone.
I would love one day. If you're up for it, I would love to have a look at your Notion.
Yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm all for Notion tours these days.
Yeah, heck yeah. Just because, seeing how people put that together, because I think it shows, I know this is I've only seen one or two people's other ones, but I think it shows, what's the term that I'm looking for? The creative process, or how somebody puts something together, the logic they have behind. Yeah. Building, that's not the right way to describe it either. Putting something together that works for them.
Yes.
And how their brain sort of, you put it down and, the way that it works for you is very different to how.
The process of design, yeah.
Yeah, it's very different for a lot of people.
It's, and at the end of the day, we talk a lot about games and we talk a lot about.
It's kind of funny because I love a little bit of chaos, but if you look at that Notion, it's ordered and regular. It's perfect.
At the end of the day, we talk a lot about games and a lot about other experiences stuff. But one of the main things we did want to do was that sort of mental health, content creator tips, but content creator tips that maybe don't get spoken about as much.
Yeah, and you did a really good panel down at DreamHack. Involving imposter syndrome and all that, which is kind of what inspired us to talk about. Imposter syndrome and some of those things as well. We didn't even think about imposter syndrome at the time.
No.
Until we saw that panel, we were like, oh shit, that's actually something that we could talk about because everybody's affected by it.
Yes, 100%.
Like,
Yeah.
And getting everybody how they deal with it and trying to take advice from all that, and
Speaking of those heavy hitting subjects, heading in towards almost the last couple of questions. We've been talking a lot about burnout recently because after your panel, actually, I was looking through some panel stuff and someone mentioned how not a lot of people talk about burnout.
No,
all of us go through it.
It's a scary thing.
Yeah, all of us go through it. Most content creators have either already been through it or they are
currently dealing with it. I've noticed there's a lot of people currently dealing with it right now, actually. I'm wondering if have you ever experienced this within content creation? I know. Have you ever suffered from imposter syndrome?
Never breathed air,
And did you find anything that helped during this period, or did you do you have anything that you do to make it so that you know when you're pushing it too hard, or making sure you aren't pushing it too hard? Like, for instance, I've got a lovely wife that goes, "Hey, Ant, haven't seen you in a week. Probably should come upstairs and hang out with your family."
Yeah.
So have you got that sort of thing?
I definitely do. So I'll start off with what burnout, right? So
Switches are on.
It's super common, and I work in a profession that has an average turnover of 50% of their staff per 2 year period.
Wow.
Right. So in the type of industry that I'm in, every 2 years people look for a job, right? Because of burnout. So I knew about burnout for a long time, but I didn't know how to deal with it. And due to some complexities that a lot of creators struggle with, sometimes it's really hard to recognize it in yourself. So what you were saying there, Ant, is like exactly the thing that helped is I have a very strong support network that could not care less about stream. Like they love that I love it, and they love, like, they'll support me in any way. But they're not logging on to watch the stream. They have no interest in it. They just care about me as a person.
Yeah.
So the number one thing is like friends and family and support network is the very first thing, because you're not going to recognize burnout. But one way it does manifest for some people is that feeling of, I don't want to do this anymore, or I'm not, that big feeling of like, I'm not good at this because I'm not growing, and not thinking about it in a way that's logical. Just going, I'm not good enough, I must be bad. And you just spiral. The main way that I get out of it is, firstly, if I ever feel like that, the first thing I do in the day is I go and have a shower or take a nap. That's the first thing I do.
Nice.
There's an old phrase that says, if I'm angry at me, I should go outside. So I should get some fresh air and feel good. If I'm angry at everybody, I should eat something. And if I feel like everything's wrong because of me, I should take a nap. It's not my quote, but it's like a really good way of thinking about burnout, because you're going to find that if you're not looking after yourself in a physical sense, in terms of going outside, doing what you need to do, you're not going to actually go around it and get better.
That's that explains the Snickers ad. You're not you when you're hungry.
Really well. That's a good one. I really, really like that, because so far everyone, what I'm hoping to do is sort of towards the end of this year and this season, I want to like sort of compile all this and pop it somewhere, anywhere. I don't care where it is, whether it's written and just give like a little bit of have something for burnout. Because when you search burnout, sometimes it doesn't come up with like too many good things.
No. Or you just get cars doing burnouts, which is cool. But like, not what I'm looking for.
But something that I have heard a lot when it comes to burnout is pretty much exactly what you've just said. Is first off, look after you, because if you're not looking after you, everything else suffers. Everything. And that includes relationships. That includes your gaming experience. If you're burnt out and you sit down, there's been days where I've been burnt out and I come down here and I'm like, what do I want to play? And then I'll go through my Steam library for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And be like, no, actually, I don't want to play any video games. And then I go upstairs and Kayla will be like, how was playing video games? Like, I didn't actually play any. I just stared at my games.
I just sat there and stared at my screen.
So everything else does suffer. Everything.
Yes.
If you don't look after you, everything else suffers. And that second part is, have people, no, don't neglect the people that care about you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
huge.
If because you kind of did say it, just not exactly on that point. If I've got a friend say, well, Kayla doesn't care about streaming. She's not, like exactly what you said. She's not logging on to watch. She's like, I love that you love it, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she's sitting there saying to me, hey, Ann, I think it's getting a little bit much. You're coming up grumpy every time. Every time I ask you how was stream, like you're like, oh, yeah, I don't know. That was all right, I guess.
It's me with work.
And she says, maybe you should take a break. If I'm like, no, you know what? I'm just going to keep pushing it. It's not doing the right thing by me or by her. It's like,
yeah,
she's probably at that point where she's like, yeah, but I don't want to hear you whining about it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's here. What?
Is she going like, that's exactly right? Like, come on, man. Of course.
What is this?
I love it. Hi, Kayla.
Call it out. Everyone, just lock it down.
Yeah, be cool, guys. Be cool.
Be cool.
On one of the things that I've learned recently about burnout is it takes 3 to 5 years to get past, minimum.
Yep.
And like that's to recover from it and not be burnt out anymore. And that's not doing the things that were burning you out. And that is insane.
Well, you can't. Like, I mean,
like obviously it's different from everybody. On average, it takes
you can
manage.
For instance, I was when was my last major set of burnout? I think it was like midway through last year or maybe the year before.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but I was bad for quite a while. I took
a bit of time off.
Oh man, like 9 weeks off, 9 or 10 weeks off. It coincided with major computer issues.
Yeah.
And that was like that was the burning point, or the turning point, I should say. It was like I was already going, oh man, this is not like I'm not enjoying myself, and then network and computer issues just made me go, I want to burn all of my setup, and I just don't want to look at it ever again.
Yeah.
But I spoke to a couple of people, and I figured out what I needed to do to get out of that. And I've prioritized those things ever since. We've spoken about it recently. Like I'm not going to the Twitch meetup anymore because I've got something else that I need to do.
Yeah.
And it is a priority to me now, where prior to it wasn't. So those things, I go out camping a lot. I reset a lot. I watch movies upstairs with my family a lot, where I wasn't prior to. Something I've spoken to Nick Tacular about. Not everything needs to be content.
Yep.
Oh, dude, preach it. Yeah,
that's
100%.
a massive one. Not everything needs to be content. Have some games that you play that's for you. There's so much. And once I started implementing that, I don't think I've been like, I mean, I get burnt out. I've got a 1-year-old. I don't sleep very much.
No, not burnt out at all.
I get burnt out on a regular basis, but not to the degree of what I think we're hitting here.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it's very important to differentiate between burnout, boredom, and exhaustion. Right?
Yes.
There are 3 different feelings occurring. Exhaustion and boredom, we often say is burnout. It's not the same thing. Like burnout becomes this apathy of everything where you really don't care. Like you just don't care about everything and nothing's making you feel energized, right? But a lot of us now, through good communication, are noticing when that trend is occurring by seeing a lack of enthusiasm and boredom into something we usually love.
Yeah.
And most of the time, spending time with family, looking after yourself is the way to fix that problem. And then you come back refreshed. Like even at a gaming level, for me, like sometimes I get over Stardew for a little bit. So I go and play some like Hollow Knight or something else that I really love. And then I come back to it and I feel so much better about life. Yeah. Instead of waiting and then going, I'm never going to play this game again and just leaving it to the side.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with a lot of things at the moment. It's sit down and you're like, no. Yeah. I just, why? Why do I even bother? Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Get up, walk away from it, do something else, come back to it. It's fine. It's just, being able, we do live in a society where communication is a lot better, where you can talk to your friends about it and they can be like, oh, I see what's happening here. Let me be really supportive and helpful. And
regular chats with mates.
Surrounding yourself with good friends is probably one of the ones I'd recommend.
Mates that'll tell you if you're being an idiot. That is the biggest thing. Like
Yeah.
a mate that'll flick you behind the ears is so much more like value to you as a person than a mate who's just there to whisper sweet nothings into your ear, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
You want someone who will pull you up.
100%. You want someone to say, "Oi, you're being an idiot.
Yeah.
Stop it."
Yeah.
I always say, and because I talk to these guys a lot about it, and I'm like, be honest, like be brutally honest, please, because that's what I need. I don't need, hey, can you watch this video and what do you think about this video? And they're like,
You don't need platitudes.
I don't need, oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah. I need
that shit.
No, not that shit. It's like,
No, I'm kidding.
I got lost in the first 15 seconds. Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think we've also built up to that as well. Like,
yeah.
Which takes a bit of time to get to that point for you to be like, oh, yeah, no, okay, be a bit more critical of where it's.
100%.
Yeah.
If you were writing a survival handbook for streaming, what would 3 of your tips be? So I really want to say this is not your top 3 tips. This is just 3 tips. What would 3 tips be? You've given so many tips for tonight, but
just
add 3
I'll
more
try with
on.
my favorite one. So this is going to be very specific to streaming, but the example works everywhere. Most things that we do are based on a skill tree, right? You can choose to be good at anything, but you're going to have to pick one to focus on. So for streaming, your gaming quality, personality, and, visual production skills are 3 skill trees. Pick one and focus on that to begin with and grow it well, and then focus on the other thing. That's probably my very first tip for streaming in general.
I like that.
That is good. That is really good. I like that.
That is very good.
That borders back into that whole burnout thing too.
Definitely.
It does. It might be an interesting one. I might have some experience in that regard, trying to do everything well. Oh, what's that like?
I do know that. Actually going back to sorry to segue again. Going back to what I was saying before about watching those big content creators, there was one that literally suggested doing improv classes.
Yes. Oh, yes. It works. It really does work.
Really?
Yeah. No, it really does. So I haven't done improv because it's not a big thing in Australia.
No.
But what I did is I've done Toastmasters and I've done a lot of public speaking for my job, right?
Gross.
So I brought all of those techniques and brought it into streaming, and it literally went from like, I don't like to talk about numbers all that much, but let's just say a low average viewership to a medium average viewership just by using that thing, like not using filler words, being clear and concise about communication, being comfortable with silence. These techniques help your ability to speak and become more watchable as a content creator.
Yeah, 100%.
This sounds too professional. I don't like it.
I'm really trying. I'm really trying to get rid of filler words.
It's hard.
My brain just. We had it the other day. I tried to say the same sentence about 8 times, and people kept on saying to me, like, I'd be sitting there. We were playing Minecraft. I was trying to thank someone for a raid and tell them what we were doing. And I was like, guys, thank you for coming in for, there we go. What the Wild Refrain? Oh no, is that the Wild Refrain?
Welcome in, Raiders.
I was trying to thank them for the raid. And I was like, guys, welcome in. This is what we've been up to. We're just about to. And then something would catch my eye. And I'd be like, what was I saying? And then I'd have to reset my whole thought process. And I said the same intro line like 7 times. I was like, Ant, come on, you've got to get better at this. But yeah, that's it's a good one.
I think working in customer service helps with that as well. Because you've got to be clear, and because everybody speaks differently. And some people are a lot harder to understand than others. So you've got to speak. I project my voice a lot. I can't whisper. My whispers project. So
yeah, they do.
I'd be terrible at sneaking around. I think working in customer service has helped me a lot with this because it's helped me talk to people I don't know, for one. To help, we've recently been dealing with a very difficult customer. He's very old. I don't like him. And he doesn't like me. I say good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is to him regularly, every day. It's just a polite thing to do. I was raised, if you greet somebody, you say, how you going? Good morning, have a good chat. It's just the Aussie thing to do. He hates it. He absolutely hates it. He's told everybody but me that he hates it. But you de-escalate the situation. Like I've found that you talk to those people like children. In a good way.
Talk to me that way.
Not in like you're a child sort of thing. It's how you would talk to a child who's just done something silly. It's like, oh no, so it's in a non-condescending sort of way. But you de-escalate there. They're like, oh, maybe I should just. He's not reacting to me, and that also I think helps because you can with certain situations you can stay calm.
Yeah.
You can keep yourself clear and to the point. I think I tangented a little bit, but essentially I think that helps.
I agree. Yeah, using what you've learned in other areas of life to bring it to streaming to do well is
like I'm
super
horrible
important.
at public speaking.
See, I could bring my work into it. I think it'd help out a lot. Okay, kids, everyone sit down. Sit down now. We're going to be counting 1, 2.
Can you spam poggers in the chat, everybody?
Yeah, everybody spam poggers. Let's spell pog.
Yeah. It's funny. We've got in the plumbing field there is a very close term. It's called a porg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So someone comes in, they're like, "Can I get a porg?"
Yeah.
And you're like,
"It's a poly overflow relief valve, and it's used in stormwater, but it's very, very close." I know somebody come in and asked for it, and I was like, "What? Excuse me?"
So yeah, we segued so hard. That was tip number 1, still, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was tip number 1.
Yeah.
What's tip
I'm gonna
number
give.
2?
Okay, I'm trying to pick ones that aren't basic. Like I don't want to be like, get your sound right because that's important.
That one was a good one though. I really liked that one. So
Yeah, it was good. It was very professional.
Yeah, that was a big one.
There you go. I think another thing is that streaming will only be fun so long as your community is fun. And that has 2 aspects to it. The first one is allowing yourself to make mistakes and be silly and be chaotic is kind of the message, which in turn brings some of that energy back to your chat. But it also means banning the person who is bumming you out.
Yeah.
Or asking the person to just stop doing what they're doing. Protect your community because they're the people who got you to where you are now. That's kind of the thought for the second.
I like that.
Especially if that person, like, don't let the length of how long someone's been there determine whether you ban them or not. I've had this recently. Oh, actually, no, that was about 2 years ago. But still recently, where something was said that did not vibe with my chat whatsoever by one of my mods. And you can't even delete a mod's message. And I was like, what the heck, man? And it was about a topic that we do not touch. I won't even bring it up in here. And
good.
And I had sent a message on Discord and said, hey, I think we might drop back to a VIP. Like that was a bit, out of touch. And then it just got worse from there. So then at that point in time, it's like, it's not a good vibe.
No.
Like I've known you for 2 years, but
obviously I haven't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to do what's best for you. So even if we've been seeing it a lot on Twitter recently of people, like, even if they spend a lot of money, to support the stream, if that's in exchange for something that's making you feel uncomfortable or making the vibe change, cut it.
Yeah,
just cut it. Don't be afraid to cut it. Good
I
tip.
think that there's a nuance between cutting and guiding, right? Sometimes you can guide someone out of those situations where you can be like, no, you know what? Hey man, that's not on. If it's cool, just don't bring that up. And they never bring it up again and you're Gucci. But if it does repeat, you got to cut the cord. You really do.
100%.
Trying to think of the last one is more of a personal one just for me. Always have one idea to improve your stream going at a time. So just have one idea. Test it, see if it works or fails. Worst case, you learn something.
Can you give us an example?
It helps you keep fresh. Yeah, sure. So I do this all the time. So It can be very minor. So the first one I did most recently, I was chatting with Nick Tacular. I was talking about how this bloody orange sign goes everywhere onto my wall and it makes it wash out everything. And so I was very annoyed by that. So I tested this purple light, which is the opposite on the color wheel, to stop that light from doing that thing, right? That was a one video change that I made. But then I would go and be like, I want to edit the way that I speak. I want to use these types of jokes for a little while. I want to try and implement this command to try and boost engagement. I want to try this channel point because I think this could be cool. But if you try and do all those things at the same time, you will go insane. So you
Very
pick one
overwhelming.
thing for each stream to improve on. It could be how you speak, it could be the audio quality, it could be the visual quality, it could be a game entirely. But you got to be testing something, or else you're not growing and learning.
On that, what is the what has had the biggest effect on your stream? Would you say it's something like maybe even like it could be like a smallest change, but has affected you and your stream overall, and you think the most positive way?
Yeah. So for me, it was allowing things not to be perfect. And I know that that's nebulous. I apologize in advance for that.
I didn't just look directly at Anthony with that one.
Yeah, like I genuinely believe, and I say this to everyone because I'm in a position where a lot of people come to me for like, how StreamerBot works advice, these sorts of things.
Yeah.
And people always ask, how did you do the X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, yeah, I did it this way, but I intentionally didn't do it the proper way because it gives something to laugh about. It gives a little bit of joy. And when things are a little bit scuffed, they actually become perfect. If you seek perfection first, you lose out on that joy that comes with the trial and error and the growth. It's why big streamers don't have a perfect setup. Like they don't. A lot of them don't because they're keeping a little bit of scuff because it keeps it genuine.
It's and when stuff goes wrong, most of the time your community memes about it anyway.
Yeah.
And it becomes an in-house joke.
I deleted my 3-month Stardew Valley save last night. No joke. No. On stream, live.
Give you a nice slow clap.
I literally I fixed it. It took me half an hour to fix it on stream going, how do files work in the save backups? But I literally deleted it live because I was talking to chat. They were having a good day. I was deleting all my speedrun files that I'm not going to ever use again. And I just went one file too far.
Yep.
But now they meme about it. Exactly right. And you've built community lore that people latch onto and they continue to come back for because they know that you're a human being and not a robot.
Yeah. It's a perfect one there. Yeah. I misspelt raid a couple of times. And now my raid message is Anthony Ryad. It's
good man.
It's been that for ages.
I love it.
And the other one is I uploaded a sound alert for a pick breaking from Minecraft, that tool breaking sound. And somehow it got so scuffed that it would glitch out and play multiples.
Yep.
It was like loud as all hell. And
I do remember when that happened.
That became I've actually saved sound clips from my actual Twitch clips to keep that scuffed sound because we couldn't get it happening every time.
Yeah.
It just occasionally it'd just glitch out and just go brrr. So I've saved that specific clip. Uploaded it back up.
One of the ones that we're trying to work on and get sorted is phenomenal. Because we say it so much.
We say phenomenals.
Far
too many times.
So like we're trying to work on getting like a phenomenal counter or something like that going on where like if it says it just goes up.
But no,
so good.
Perfection is something that everyone should
strive for perfection, but there's no. See, there's a saying. I can't remember the complete saying. It's like you strive for perfection, but there's more to it. Maybe that's the saying. Yeah,
I'd say strive for.
What am I thinking of?
Now I've lost what I'm saying as well. Oh my lord.
Well, why don't I jump in then? I've got one for it. So my biggest belief, this is actually a quote that is said quite a lot. I love quotes. I love two shakes of a lamb's tail sort of colloquialisms. I love that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But one of the quotes I live my life by is that perfection is actually the enemy of progress. In that if you strive for perfection so hard, you will give up because you can't ever achieve it.
Yes.
I
For
think
some people, perfection is a goal marker that you walk towards and you're okay with falling short. But for a lot of people, not achieving the goal is going to concern them and stop them from moving.
I think that is probably the saying that I was thinking of, but I had it reversed.
It's you just
progress is the opportunity for success.
Yeah.
You're just ticking all of my boxes. It's in my early days, it was 100% perfection. Everything had to be perfect. Camera frames, perfect. Had to be perfect. My backdrop, if I had a controller up here like this, and it wasn't in the right place, I'd see it in my camera and go, oh, I've got to move that. And I remember my first lot of burnout was because of that perfection. I wasn't hitting that perfection.
Yeah.
And I stopped stream once and I cried. I was that frustrated.
Yep.
I was so angry with everything. And I just had pure frustration tears. I was like, fuck this, I'm out, I'm done with this. Like throwing stuff off my desk. And I was like, I'm so finished. I don't want to stream anymore. And Kayla's coming in and like, what's going on? I'm like, so over it. I'm done. I can't do what I want to do. And it's not a thing about perfection. It's more, I should have been learning how to do it. Rather than just sitting there going, it's got to be perfect. It's like, well, how do I get it to a point where I'm enjoying it?
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it's easy to go, I want this, but then you make no action towards doing it. It's like what we said at the start, right? If you want to be a streamer, but you don't go live, problem, right?
Yeah.
You want to go and lose weight, you got to go exercise and eat well, right? Simple. But when it comes to like being perfect, sometimes it's just this abstract goal and we do build up frustrations. I'm like that too with my stuff behind me. Like, when I get a work meeting, I gotta hide my Vaporeon in the back because I'm all worried about how that'll
that's
feel.
a Vaporeon back there.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. But it's really important to just like sometimes let those things be and learn how to deal with that frustration. But also notice that most of the time people aren't looking at that. Most of the time people don't really care about it the same way you do. It's not a bad thing always, but
100%.
it can affect you.
100%. Seeing, what was it? I can't even remember what it was. Something in my background. I was waiting for someone to pick up on it. And a lot of the time, most people are, funnily enough, looking at the game you're playing.
Yeah, not the background. Yeah.
And then would you believe?
Yeah, it's insane. And then occasionally they look across to see your reaction to some things, but especially in a game like Stardew or Minecraft, where you're not always going to have massive reactions to things.
Yeah.
They're not always looking at your little camera over here. So don't stress too much about what your background looks like. Make it look aesthetic if you want it to.
Yeah.
But it can also just be a brick wall.
Especially in the type of content that we do. Like for us, with what we do, it's a little bit different because, we're generally center stage especially for the podcast, but it's not when we're playing games. So, we want to have our background looking nice with like things that we like. And
dude, we could have a green screen.
We could have a green screen, but like that sort of thing for us and for people who do just chatting, you want to have an aesthetic sort of look, but you're just playing a game.
Yeah.
You want it to look pretty. People aren't really going to look at it except for in your intros and outros and stuff like that. Like, just as long as you're happy with it.
It's that's it.
Yeah.
Awesome tips. I really want to keep talking. But I've just noticed we've gone on 2.5 hours.
Sorry, dudes.
And don't apologize. It's awesome. I'd love to extend this, and I don't know. And this is the testing thing, like what you're saying. It's for the most part we've put out like an hour and a half podcast. So this will definitely be one where it'll be like, how's this going to fare? How much of this is someone going to listen to?
Yeah, because I remember when we were at DreamHack, like one of the people we were talking to said that she listens to it on her drive to work. So that hour and a half is perfect for them because they can listen start to finish and get it all. Whereas going a little bit longer makes it a little bit harder.
Yeah, but we'll see. Look, there's plenty of content coming from this.
Oh, definitely.
I'm like,
especially them tips. They're gonna make some. They're gonna make some nice shorts.
Yeah, and look,
happy to help, lads.
I'm all about. And that's the one thing I'm learning at the moment. I'm learning how to better edit my shorts. So this content that we're getting from the Level Up Lounge is fueling that, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Well done, mate. That's the thing. Continue to grow. Continue to push. I love it.
That's it. So first off, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, no,
We
thank you.
really do appreciate it. It's been an awesome chat. And
love to hang out sometime as well.
Hey, let's do it. I'm
Well,
down.
we live so close.
down.
I was hoping you'd go silent as well. Then
Yeah,
No. I like to be nice to
It's
my
just like
friends.
up for a high five, and they're like, no.
Now, is there first off, if anyone wants to find you, where would they find you?
On the
Oh,
internet.
yeah,
On the internet.
It's like, well, generally I live at home.
You're having a great one, mate. Yeah, you definitely past your bedtime at this point, hey, man. I love it. No, look, everything's in the channel, in the channel now, which is great. Thank you so much. But no, best to find me on Twitch, actually, Twitch is the primary place for me. TikTok as well. I'm around, and Instagram are probably my main platforms. But I am everywhere that you would normally find a content creator, like on Twitter, like on YouTube, and so on.
Yep, beautiful.
Yeah, nice.
And that's all the same name, all Wild Refrain.
All Wild Refrain except for Instagram, which is Wild Refrain _. Because someone who's never posted anything has my name, and that is
hate that.
awesome.
That's great.
I hate that. It's the same for me on Twitter. Most places I'm Anthony YTG, and on Twitter it's Anthony YTG. Anyway, perfect. So yeah, if anyone's listening at home or watching on the YouTube channel, Wild Refrain does Stardew, as you've probably heard from the last 2 hours. Awesome streams, lovely human being. Please do go and check them out. And thank you all for listening as well. Thanks, chat, for hanging out.
Thank you.
Thank you for the raid.
Thank you, Foxy.
Boxes of Foxes. Shout out to Boxes of Foxes.
And all the lovely people that come in from that.
Exactly.
And decided to stay and watch.
We'll be back next week. We've got another special guest coming again next week. We have the lovely Nick Tacular joining us again to talk about Computex, actually.
What a good lad. Yeah, and all the cool things that he's seen over there. Holy crap, there's some fun things
there's
he's
some really
seen.
cool stuff. So look forward to
Didn't you go to the Pokemon shop?
Looking forward to that.
You did.
Over there?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I saw his Twitter post. I was like, damn it. I'm 16 hours too late.
So yeah, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week, and enjoy.
No, thank you for being here.
We'll catch you guys next time on the lounge. Bye-bye.
Bye.